Hey everyone. Sorry about that. I unplugged the camera accidentally. It's one of those days. It's a Monday. Welcome to Monday, everyone. Sorry. So I saw that Linda was in here this evening and she had to pop out because she's not feeling well. So if you watch this on the replay, Linda, I just want to say that I hope you get to feeling better. But thank you for stopping by. And good evening, Ashley. So glad you're here. And Donna, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you. And Fuzzy Fork. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any dancing girls here tonight, but I'm glad you're here nonetheless. And Rob, so glad you're here. So glad that you made it back home safely from your trip into town. And I hope you're having a great night too. Just going down the list of comments here. Good evening, Carrie Ann. So glad you could make it, even if you're just listening at work. So thank you. I appreciate that. 7 days of the flu. Oh, Donna, I'm so sorry to hear that you were ill. That's not good. I hope you're feeling better, though. The weekend couldn't have been all that bad for Ashley. That's good to hear. If you made it out alive, that's a good weekend. Fuzzy says, this last weekend, I actually posted a few survival videos. One was, are you an asset or a liability? The other was living remote. That sounds like some good information, Fuzzy. I have a video similar to that about things that you should know before moving to a remote area in Alaska. But it talked about some of those same issues. So I'll be sure to check out your videos. Hi, LJ. How you doing tonight? So glad you're here. And Clint, all the way from East Texas. Glad you could make it. Hopefully you brought the jokes with you tonight. And hi, Ira. How you doing? Ira says, hello, alone. Welcome to our living room. Come join us for a big bowl of shrimp cashew fried rice with homegrown from the garden zucchini and peppers. That sounds delicious. Absolutely delicious. Hey, Ray's, how are you doing tonight? Raised in Alaska in the house, everybody. Be sure to check out his channel as well. I'm sure he would appreciate it if you'd stop by. Ray says, good evening, alone. How is the mosquito population now? The mosquito population is hit and miss. So this year, the mosquitoes are a lot bigger than what I saw last year. Last year, they were really small. They were out in droves last year, but they were really small. This year, they're bigger, but I haven't seen them in swarms yet. I've only had a couple in the cabin so far, but so far not too bad, thank goodness. How are they where you're at, though? That's the real issue, or the real question, I guess. And Ira says, I hope you've had a great week and a good evening to all from South Georgia. My weekend was great. My week is shaping up to be great too. So I hope yours is also. And thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. Hello to you as well. And LJ says, how has the weather been? The weather has been cold for the most part, but then today it's a warm day. I don't know what our high was today. I think maybe around 50 degrees, but it's bright and sunny and actually feels really nice out in the sunshine. So I hope your weather is good as well. Hi, Timothy. How are you doing tonight? So glad you can make it. And yes, of course, I was, at least it wasn't an internet issue this time. So it was just user error, but I was able to get it resolved fairly quickly. Ashley says, alone, take your time. We know the drill. Well, we'll talk between ourselves. I'm so glad that you guys are able to carry on the conversation, even if I'm not part of it. So that means a lot to me that you guys are a great community in and amongst yourselves. Hi, Bren. How you doing tonight? Bren says, hello, everyone. I just got back from grocery shopping, unpacking, and ready to watch with a mid-morning coffee. That sounds awesome, too, being able to sit back and just enjoy a conversation. And Fuzzy says, squirrel chewing on the lines again. Not yet. I did have a squirrel on the house this last week, which, to be honest with you, that was the first squirrel that I've seen on the house this spring. And last winter, I didn't really get bothered by them in the fall or the winter. So hopefully that squirrel doesn't become a problem to the house or to me. And there's Heidi. Hi, Heidi. How you doing from Indiana and the Michigan border? So glad you could be here. And Mike G coming to us from BC, Canada. Thanks for joining us tonight. And same to you, Charles O'Neill. So glad you could be here. And Bren says hi to Ashley and Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn, and to myself says I can see you now on my TV. We're on the big screen, folks. Hey, Jean, how you doing? Jean is coming to us from Kentucky. So glad you could join us tonight. And same to you, Carol. Carol's coming to us from Illinois. And Lonnie Poe. And so nice of you to join us again. Lonnie says hello from Parkton, Maryland. Starting to warm up over there. Well, that is nice. That is really nice. So I have my seedlings out hardening off just this week. I put them out yesterday and left them out overnight, and they did just fine. So that's a good sign. And Fuzzy says, I found out they make cast iron bread pans, was busy ordering. I saw your earlier comment that that's going to empty your bank account. And I know the feeling. Trust me, I definitely know the feeling. Hi, Dogman. How are you doing tonight? So glad you could be here. Dogman says, I'm here now. You may proceed, young lady. Well, thank you, Dogman. And everyone, be sure to stop by Dogman and say hello to him. I'm sure he would enjoy the company over at his channel. And Donna says she's feeling better after having the flu. Well, that is good. I'm so glad that you're recovering. And there's Lee from the Old Tavern Farm. So thank you for joining tonight. And she says, hi, y'all, from the Adirondacks. You're looking glam, my sister. Well, thank you very much. I feel like I look a little disheveled. I keep seeing my hair sticking out in the camera. So if you see me do this, it's because I can see hair going that direction. I hope you're doing well, though, nonetheless. And Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn says they are great. Sadly, he's talking about the fiddlehead ferns. Sadly, mine got lost in the move. Oh no, bread pans. The bread pans is what he's talking about. I saw there was a comment about him being the fiddlehead fern guy. So bread pans lost in the move. I lost a couple things in my move too, and surprisingly, they were big things. So I lost an old radio cabinet. It's like 16 inches deep, 3 feet across, about 3 feet tall. And I had two of them. Only one made it up to Alaska. And, my son sent me a picture of the storage unit and it was empty. So I know it didn't get left behind, but it's really concerning. It's like, where did a radio cabinet go? Of all things, how do you lose that in the move? Who knows? But anyhow, hi, Virginia. How are you doing tonight? Virginia says, hey, honey, I'm so glad to see you. This is Virginia from Mississippi. Well, hello, hello. Thank you for being here. And RMO 24, how are you doing tonight, Renee? Renee, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. And Josepha, how are you doing tonight, my friend? So glad you could be here and talk with all of us tonight. And Ashley says, I had a skeeter today. Oh no, they're coming your way too. They're out and about, folks. Be prepared. Virginia says Mississippi, because her original message cut off. And she says, do you get to FaceTime your parents and kids much? No, we don't actually FaceTime, which I know probably seems odd, but we're all, hastily talking to each other, it seems like. I do sit and talk with my mom once a week, and or try to at least, and we talk for about an hour or two when we get to sit and talk. But my kids and I are just generally texting each other, and it's usually like they're at work or they're on break and they're just texting me a quick message, or it's 5 o'clock in the morning my time, and so I'm reading the message and then closing the phone and going back to sleep. But I do get to talk to them each week, which is good. And Ernie's Cabin, thank you for being here tonight. Everyone be sure to check out Ernie's channel as well. And Ernie says, you call them mosquitoes, we call them hummingbirds. Well, after seeing how big they are here so far this spring, I understand why they're called the Alaska state bird, because they're huge this year. They're like a half inch to 3/4 of an inch long in their body size. And back in Colorado, we had big things that look like mosquitoes, but they're called water bugs. And that's what these remind me of. And what I was told was the larger mosquitoes are holdovers from last year that were able to hibernate over the winter months. They'll die off here in another couple of weeks, I guess. And then we'll get the smaller ones, and there'll be the ones that are in droves. So they're coming for sure. Hi, JR. How you doing tonight? And JR also says the same thing. Okay, I'm here now. You can start. Well, we waited for you like one pig waits for another. Sorry, JR. Started without you, my friend. But hopefully you're catching up. Um, and Clint says, was moving earlier and the mosquitoes were all over me like a tattoo on a biker's backside. Oh no, your back's going to be itch or your body's going to be itchy. That would be the worst. You know how you see the pictures of people covered in bees? If you were covered in mosquitoes that way, that would be horrible. I can't even imagine what that'd be like. Fuzzy says, I cook with cast iron from Griswold, Wagner, and Lodge. So I was looking at all of my cast iron this week, and all but one piece is Lodge. And the other piece that I have doesn't really have a name on it. I don't know who made it. But it's just as good as any of the others that I have so far. So I do love my cast iron pieces, though. They're the best. And RMO24 says, has the water still been a problem with the spring melt? So the water on my property is drying up slowly. I just have a little bit of standing water left out in the path leading out into the woods and in front of the bunkhouse. And the water in Glen Allen and in Copper Center, they've gotten that remedied. And so it's no longer crossing the road, and they were able to keep the road open going into town. And luckily, for the road is done fine, but there were a lot of homes that were flooded in the area and elsewhere in Alaska as well. I saw a clip of a home that was along a river bank, and it was just completely taken away by the flooding. So it's unfortunate, but flooding is very common here in Alaska. It happens every year throughout the state. And Glen Allen is no stranger to that flooding for sure. In fact, when you're driving through Copper Center on the loop road, so there's a road that goes through the old part of the town, there's actually a speed limit sign on the road. I should get a picture of it. The speed limit sign says, speed limit, no wake. And so a wake is like a wave. If you create waves on a lake, that's how bad the flooding is in town, that they're saying when the road's flooded, you can't create waves. You have to drive through slow enough that you're not creating those waves on the road. So it's kind of funny to see a no wake sign on a roadside. And Rob says to Fuzzy, I have a bunch of different kinds of cast iron he's talking about. Some are around 100 years old. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Hello, Janie. How you doing tonight? Janie says, hi, Alone. What is your first line of defense against the mosquitoes? So I do actually have a video coming up. I just had to pick up something at the post office today for the video. But my first line of defense actually is mosquito repellent on the body. And then I have a whole host of other things that I'll be discussing in this week's video regarding how I'm combating the mosquitoes here at my property. One of the problems with my property here, and I'm sure lots of properties throughout the state of Alaska, is that there's a lot of standing water here in Alaska, and especially on my property because I'm surrounded by small lakes. And so there's, no way you can really combat them all because there's so many breeding places for them. But that's the first thing I would say for anybody is get rid of the standing water if you can. After that, there's foggers that you can buy. There's aerosol foggers that you can buy in a can. Those last about 15-20 minutes. But if you could have your property fogged, which will kill off all the eggs and the larvae that might be in the tall grass where there might be standing water, that's probably going to be your best bet, to be honest with you, is those foggers are probably the best thing for getting rid of the mosquitoes. But that's a great question. And Dogman says, how far to your nearest liquor store where you live? Oh, goodness. About an hour. So a lot of the communities in Alaska are dry communities where you can't bring any alcohol into the communities. And the nearest community to me doesn't actually sell liquor anywhere in the community. It's not that it's a dry community, meaning you can bring liquor into the community, but they just don't sell it. So it would be about an hour away from me to the nearest liquor store. So when I run into town, I do stock up on Guinness because, yeah, I can't if I want a beer and I don't have one, it's not like I can just go run and get one. So if you ever look in my videos and you see boxes of Guinness in the pantry, that's why. And Timothy says, I'm mending a broken heart. Girlfriend broke up with me yesterday. I need a hug. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That's always the worst day is when a loved one tells you sayonara, no matter the reason. I'm sorry to hear that, Timothy. I'm sure you'll find a new one in no time flat. Trust me. There's someone out there for everybody. That's my honest belief. And Fuzzy says, yeah, same here, buddy, about the cast iron. Lots of cast iron. Love to cook on it. There's Bren's channel link for everybody over at Bren Free. Be sure to check out her channel and all of the shorts she posts. She does some really cute shorts set to music. I really like them. And Ashley says, Timothy, you have my sympathy, but there's more out there. That's right. And the way I look at it is, because for those of you who might know, my boyfriend broke up with me shortly before moving to Alaska, and that was fine because that actually encouraged me to make the move on my own and get up here. But the way I look at it is his loss, and same to your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, her loss, because that's their problem, not yours. You'll find someone who's better and who's meant to be with you and wants to be with you. That's the way I look at it. So I hope that's helpful and encouraging. I know sometimes people are like, you're pretty brash. And I do apologize if that's how it comes across, but you're probably better off if that's the case, because you want someone who wants to be with you for sure. And Susan says, watching you from Roseburg, Oregon. I love Roseburg, Oregon. What a beautiful community is that. So welcome, Susan. Thank you for being here. And JR says to Timothy, don't worry, they are like buses. But sorry, though, been there, done that. Yep, I think the majority of us have all gone through a breakup, and it's never fun. And Rob is saying hello to Old Tavern. And Dogman says, yes, my channel is lonely. Bring the company, folks. And Lee is saying hi to Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn. And be sure to check out Rob's channel as well over at Curmudgeon Inn and say hello to him. I thank him for moderating again tonight. Really appreciate that. And Eggy Toast, thank you for being here. Yeah, that's a comment I don't think I need to read, but thank you. And Terry says, hello, Alone from Atlantic Canada. Love your videos. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you joining us tonight. And Old Tavern is giving Timothy big hugs through the internet there. And Curmudge has put up her channel link for everybody. So be sure to check out Old Tavern's farm and all of her channels and all of her shorts as well. She has lots and lots of good shorts on her channel also. And Ira says, I have issue with reddish colored rabbits in the garden. So far, they have been eating peppers. I sprinkled them with cayenne, but they like the extra spice. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's too funny. And Ashley saying too much information to Eggy. Yep, I agree. Clint says if parts of Alaska has any more water buildup, y'all gonna need some scuba gear. Yes, I agree. A rowboat. And Doc Ben's asking, what's FaceTime? FaceTime is an app on the Apple phones where you can talk to your uh, counterparts and show your face while you're talking. I forget what they used to call that. There used to be another word for when you were talking to somebody on your phone, and I don't remember what it used to be called, where you could show your face. Julianne says, hello, Julianne. Sorry, I'm getting caught up here. Julianne says, hello, everyone. We need rain in central New York. Well, I will send you some from our direction, because the other day it started to rain and I thought, oh, that's the last thing we need is rain right now here in Alaska. But believe it or not, even though everything is still really wet outside, the fire danger on this side of Alaska is extremely high right now. So if you watched my last video, when I'm walking around, you can hear how dry the leaves and the duff, which is the ground cover, so the pine cones, pine needles, leaves, dead grass, all that is duff. as it builds up on the ground. And when I'm walking through, you can hear how crunchy and how dry that is. And so right now the fire danger is extremely high on this side of Alaska, despite the flooding. It is quite the enigma. Ashley says, Dogman, I'm not into tech, but I believe it's a video chat. That is correct. Video chat. Thank you. That's the words I was looking for, Ashley. And Old Tavern says, yep, me too. RMO says, we have mosquitoes bigger than birds in North Carolina, an Oxbow, North Carolina, OBX. I'm assuming OBX is Oxbow, but I'm not sure. So if I got that wrong, I apologize. But yeah, that's how it seems here today with the mosquitoes. Dogman says, I like skeeters. They help me invent new dance moves. Oh my goodness. So at night, I've had one mosquito in the cabin each night for the last couple of nights. And I, throw the cover up over my head or a pillow up over my head, and you can still hear them buzzing. That's how big they are, that you can hear them through the covers or through the pillow. But JR says, why do chicken coops have two doors? Sorry, my phone, I didn't silence it. And the reminder for the live stream is going off here. So let me go ahead and silence that right now. Sorry about that, folks. And Ashley's asking JR, why? Why do chicken coops have two doors? If they had four doors, they would be called a chicken sedan. That's pretty funny. And Julianne says, hello, everyone. We need rain in central New York. Grass is turning brown and it's only May. And Julianne says, I love cast iron. I love cast iron too. Yes. Like I said, I will gladly send you some for sure. And Clint says the same thing about if it had four doors, it'd be a chicken sedan. That's hilarious. And hello, Matt. How are you doing tonight? Matt AK is here. Thank you for being here tonight, Matt. I appreciate it. And Ashley saying hi to Matt. And hello, Sarah. How are you doing tonight? Sarah says, hi, Alone. Sorry, I'm late making snacks and drinks. Well, I think that's an acceptable reason for being late, if anything. I hope you enjoy your snacks too, Sarah. And let's see here. Ashley says, Sarah did make enough for everyone. And there is Race in Alaska's channel link for everybody. Be sure to check out his channel. And Matt is saying hello to Rob. Clint says, I know I type slow, because he said the same answer. Welcome to my world. I'm a slow typer at times too, Clint. And Matt says, currently figuring out DaVinci Resolve so I can edit a dash cam clip of someone that tried to hit me on the freeway today. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that you're okay. I hope they didn't actually hit you. From the sounds of it, sounds like you didn't get hit. But I do want to say DaVinci Resolve is a step up from the editing software that I use. When I first started, I was actually using DaVinci Resolve to edit my videos, but it took up too much memory space on my computer. So I offloaded it, and now I just use Shotcut, which doesn't take up nearly as much space and still allows me to do almost everything that I could do on the other one. So good luck with that editing, and hopefully everything works out okay for you, Matt, and I hope you're okay. And JR is saying to Clint, thought you had slow internet. Lol. And thank you, RMO24. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you very much. At $4.99. That will definitely help out. Trust me, every little bit helps these days. So I appreciate that. And Sarah says, not yet. Ashley, what would you like on the snacks? And Virginia says, hi to Rob over at the Curmudgeon Inn. And thank you for saying hi. And Rob is saying, at Matt, get in touch if you have questions. I use DaVinci if you have a question. Well, that's good. Yeah, it's always nice to have someone who can walk you through some of these editing programs. Dogman says, building bat houses are the best way to combat skeeters. That is true. And I was surprised when I moved here to learn that Alaska does actually have bats. So this time of the year, when there's still a little bit of darkness outside, you'll see them flying through at night. And then again in the fall. I don't know what they do in the wintertime since it's so cold here. And in the, few weeks of summer when it never really gets dark, I don't know what they're doing then either. But we do have bats here in Alaska as well. And Ernie says, I hear moose pee works good as mosquito repellent. Well, probably, but I don't think I'm going to put that on me. If I just need to like scatter some around the yard, I wonder how I'm going to get it. Dogman says, same here in Arkansas, hour drive to get liquor. Yep, it's a long ways away for sure. And Rob says, thank you to RMR24 in case I missed the chat, the super chat. So thank you, Rob, for that. And I do apologize. So I am using a streaming software. I'm using StreamYard to do my live streams, which is how I'm able to put the comments up on the screen right there. But it seems like sometimes I don't see all of the chats that come in. So if I miss yours, I do apologize. But I do want to let everyone know that I am attempting to read them all. And Ashley says, Sarah, I'm not too picky, but I am allergic to milk. Yeah, that's never fun. Are you allergic to the casein in milk? Because that's my issue. Like I can have cream and butter, but milk itself is no good. Cheese is iffy. And anything with the casein in it is bad. So I can't even drink like the artificial creamer. I forget what that stuff's called. But you buy it in the big bottle and it's I don't drink it, so I don't know what it's called. But anyhow, I just learned the other day why I have trouble with that creamer, and that's because it is casein. It's basically just the casein, which is the allergen part of milk. That's what the artificial creamer is. So if you have milk allergies, stay away from that artificial creamer. I really wish I knew what it was called. It's got the blue label on it. That's all I can tell you. I'm probably not making a whole lot of sense. I'm sorry about that. And Dogman says, if Alaska has bats, I'm sure there's another part to that, but I didn't see it. And Matt says to Rob, I've used Premiere Pro a good bit for other things. So I'm muddling through it. Sorry, having trouble reading that. For sure, email you though if I have questions. Well, that's good. And I did try to use Premiere Pro, but it is way above my pay grade. I could not figure that one out. I was like, okay, nope, need a refund. That one's too complicated for me. So, and hello, Sylvia from Canyon, BC. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate you joining us. And same to you, Joy David. Joy says, vanilla extract, even imitation works. Put on a cloth and rub around your neck, wrist, and ankles. Good to know. I will give that a try for sure. And Ashley says, Ernie, get that on a video and show us how that works for you. I forgot what Ernie was saying, so I apologize. And Dogman says, breakup is God's way of showing you how great single life is. Yep. And I have to admit, I'm enjoying single life. So, Timothy, maybe there's, that for you as well. Maybe you'll find your own company is better than that of others. But either way, I wish you all the best in life and what comes your way. And hello, Sci-Fi. How are you doing tonight? Sci-Fi says there's a Jed Clampett out there for everyone. This is true. Uh, and let's hope that Jed Clampett comes with that pocketbook. Not that I'm a gold digger, but a little money never hurt anybody. And Virginia says yes to Dogmen. Julianne says, hugs to the brokenhearted, your heart will mend. I agree. Hello, Brooklyn. How you doing tonight? Brooklyn says, hi, everybody. Can't bring alcohol in. I don't drink, but use it for extracts and tinctures. So it's not allowed for those purposes either. Beer, battered fish, shrimp, wine for canning, Dijon mustard, etc. Nope, no alcohol. So it's really just the native communities that don't allow alcohol. And part of the reason is that they just can't handle the alcohol. So they're oh man, the word is right there on the tip of my tongue. But their bodies just can't digest it. They can't process the alcohol the same way that we do. I say like European, Caucasians, even, Latin Americans. Our bodies are just able to process alcohol better than the Native Americans or the Inuit peoples are. So that's why that's not allowed. It's just in really the native communities. But if you lived like in Anchorage or Wasilla, Fairbanks, someplace like that, they definitely have alcohol allowed in the larger cities for sure. But yep, they don't allow it for any reason. And Rob says, I will make sure I have Guinness up here for you. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. It is my favorite beer, I have to admit. I know it's not a beer, it's a stout, but it is my favorite. And Paulette Hill, thank you for being here. And Paulette says, I admire you so much. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I'm flattered. And Ashley is saying hello to Brooklyn. And Rob is also saying hello to Brooklyn. Hope you are doing good, Rob says. And JR is saying to Susan, I am just 1 hour south of you. And Dogman said, or Clint says to Dogman, truth. And Ashley saying hi. So is Lee to Brooklyn. And SKS Hugo says, good evening. Thank you for being here, SKS. Appreciate you popping in. And Ira says, I agree from my experience with broken relationships. It's their loss. Good luck to you. We'll find someone better. Yes, I agree. You will definitely find someone better. And Coy Lake says, how long is your growing season? It is about 90 days, 90 to 100 days on average is the growing season here. And the last frost date for this area is in about 8 days from now. I had to look at the date on the computer. Sorry about that. And then the grow zone for this area is 2B. So for perennial crops, they would need to be able to survive -50 to -60 degrees over the winter months. But I don't plan on growing any perennials. At least I don't think I'm going to. So the 2B doesn't really matter to me. It's just more of if we got a late summer storm, would they be able to handle that? And hello, Todd Miller. How are you doing tonight? Todd is coming to us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Thank you for being here. And Brooklyn is saying to Rob, I'm well, thanks. The she heathen joined the National Guard against my wishes. Just a little bummed. Oh, I'm sorry your daughter did that. But hopefully it works out well for her nonetheless, Brooklyn. I do know some kids that joined that when I was younger, and it did actually help them make their way in life. So I hope all the best works out for her. And Kermudge says, I removed that comment, not sure it went right through. Okay, so that's one of the things too that is unfortunate about the StreamYard service is that even though Rob's moderating, unfortunately, I should get you into the StreamYard, Rob, so that you can moderate from there so that you can block the comments, because what we found is that YouTube, you're moderating on YouTube and I still see the comments even though they get blocked. So apologies to everybody if one of those slips through. But Rob, I really appreciate it. And AFJ says, good evening alone and all in the chat. Well, thank you for being here, AFJ. I really appreciate it. And hello to you as well. And Dogman says, nope, I don't do videos. Don't do videos. Oh, get a video of something. Okay, I see what you're saying. Brooklyn is saying hi to Lee. And Nanny Goat Acres, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And Nanny Goat says, harvesting tomatoes, purple onions, garlic, and squash already in Northeast Texas. Wow, you're already harvesting things. That's crazy. I'm not used to that even in Colorado, because in Colorado, the first weekend for planting was generally Memorial Day weekend. So that's crazy. What a difference in grow zones. And Clint says, the guy I pay once a week to pick up feces just realized that I don't have any pets. Oh my goodness, Clint. Yikes. Paulette says, hello from West Virginia. Love your videos. Thank you very much. And Laura Beth, thank you for being here. Laura Beth is coming to us from Michigan. Appreciate that. Oh, and Lee is asking, who is planting? Yes, tell us when, if you've already planted, and how long your crops have been in the ground and what you're planting. I'm curious what everyone's planting around their yards this year. And Virginia says, hi, Annie. Dear, when you get lonely, how do you combat the blues? I just love you and your channel. Well, I've got a confession to make. I don't really get lonely. And part of the reason is that I stay very busy. I don't really allow myself a lot of time to just sit and think for the most part. And then the other thing is that I've got Kenai here, which is a lot of entertainment, and I'm talking to you guys all the time. So whether it's in the videos or here on the live stream once a week, and also in the comments. So you guys keep me from getting lonely because you guys provide me that outlet, and I get to listen to, your stories and the things that you have going on in your lives. And really that provides me enough of an outlet that I don't really find that I'm missing having people around. And when I've gone into town, which I've been doing a lot lately, more than I expected to, but when I run into town, that reminds me that I like it really best in the cabin where it's nice and quiet. There's so many people on the other side of the state that after being here for as long as I have, it's actually a bit overwhelming to be around all those people. So, but that is a great question. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have an answer. OBX is the Outer Banks area of coastal North Carolina. Oh, well, there you go. I had it completely wrong. So thank you, Renee, for that. I appreciate it. And AFJ is saying hi to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn. And Lee is saying, cool, Rob, we're zone 5B and we got burned with a freeze. Yeah, I saw your short about how the things on your patio managed to survive, but the things you had planted in the ground did not, which caused me to run outside and check my crops that I have sitting outside waiting to go in the ground. And luckily, everything survived overnight because last night was the first night that they were out there. And Ashley says, oh, to Old Tavern, I have about half of my garden out. That's awesome. And Ashley is saying hi to AFJ. Dogman, S Sci-Fi is saying to Dogman, has some beautiful puppies available for adoption. This is true. So if you're looking for a dog, head over to Dogman's channel and check out his channel. He does a great job at rehabilitating dogs and raising puppies that he is trying to rehome right now. So very kind of him to do that for the dogs, and also hopefully someone can help him out as well. And Old Tavern says, yes, Rob, thanks for moderating. Yes, I really appreciate it. And Dogman says, yes, I do, Sci-Fi, thanks. Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn is saying to Old Tavern, friends in Vermont lost a lot of apple tree blossoms due to the freeze. They will have to claim on crop insurance. Oh, that's not good. Yikes. Hello, Eddie Burris. How are you doing tonight? Eddie says, are you dip netting the Copper River this year? I hope to be dip netting the Copper River this year. I've had several invitations from some other YouTubers as well as some people in the area that have invited me to go dip netting with them. So one way or another, I plan on getting out there and dip netting for sure. I actually thought I was going to be going fishing about a week ago, but plans changed and I never made it. So I'm itching to get my, poles out there in the water for sure and get a fish on. And Renee says, I inherited my grandma's cast iron skillet. It's over 60 years old. That's pretty cool. I love inheriting things that our grandparents and parents hand down. And cast iron is one of those things that you'll be able to pass down as well. It's amazing. And Brent says, Alone, will you be planting any fruit trees? Maybe in the future, but because of how cold it gets here, I'm a little bit concerned about how well they'll do. So there's a channel that I was watching, and I wish I could remember the name of the channel off the top of my head, but I don't. But there's a channel that I was watching of a gentleman who plants fruit trees in Zone 2B in Canada. And he was talking about specific varieties that were bred specifically for that cold hardiness. So I was going to try to see if those were available here in Alaska and see if I could get some, because I think they were apple and maybe a peach. I can't remember though, but definitely apple trees for sure is what he was planting. But that would be awesome if I could and have them survive the winter. That's my biggest concern. And there is the link to Rob's channel over the Curmudgeon Inn. Do be sure to pay him a visit and say hello. And Old Tavern says to Rob, how awful about the friends in Vermont that lost their apple blossoms. I'm sorry to hear that. Yep, that is horrible. And I hope that they didn't lose so many that they don't make profit this year from their apple sales. That's always a concern when you're running a farm for sure. And Old Tavern's letting me know also that OBX is Outer Banks. I'm going to have to remember that going forward, what that means. And Dogman says to the moose urine, how do you collect that? Moose urinals. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. On a related but odd topic, there is a gentleman in Colorado that actually sells elk milk, and it's called Melk, MELK. And it's a real thing, like it's a real legitimate business. He has an elk farm and he's milking the elk. And I always thought that was the weirdest thing I'd ever heard. Hello, Jeff Dave. How are you doing tonight? Jeff says, Kilchers living near Frick Creek, Alaska, are a 10-minute drive from the Cars Safeway in Homer. Oh, well, that's interesting to know. I'm going to be going down to Homer here relatively soon, and maybe I'll have the chance to swing by and take a glance at their property from the road. That's very interesting. Thank you for passing along that information. And Donna says, Coffee Mate. Thank you. That is exactly what it is. Yep, Coffee Mate is just, well, it's casein and a bunch of other things, but casein is one of the main ingredients in there. So if you have a milk allergy to casein, you should probably stay away from Coffee Mate. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. And Rob is saying, yes, this is true regarding the Kilchers property. And hello, Selena. Thank you for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here on the chat tonight as well. Thank you. Thank you for both of those things. And Ira says, I'm glad you were speaking about milk as it reminded me I left my almond milk out of the refrigerator. Oh no, time to go run and put that back in. And Curmudgeon is saying equal. I think equal is the sweetener, but it's also in a blue package, I think. I don't know. Oh yeah, that comes in a blue pack. Yep, that's the sweetener for sure. And Dixieland Homestead, thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate that. And God's Country, thank you for being here also, and says that vanilla might attract a guy, so watch out. Might attract some other things too, like I'll be outside having a whole host of things following me, bees, guys. Who knows what else? Bears. Selena says, are you looking into setting up a rain catchment system with your beautiful metal roof? I am. So eventually I'm going to have gutters installed. I've been in talks with my contractor about how we're going to do the gutters, because with the way the pitch is on the roof and everything, traditional gutters could potentially get ripped off of the roof. And so we're talking about either having detachable gutters or gutters that can flip up underneath the soffits and tuck up out of the way during the winter months. So I don't have to worry about the snow ripping them off the roof. But putting gutters on so I can have a rain catchment system is definitely in the plans for sometime in the future. Yes. Thank you for that question. And Eddie says vanilla extract will get you eaten by a bear. That's what I keep thinking. They'll be like, "Ooh, you smell sweet." And hello, Big T. How are you doing tonight? Big T says greetings and merry meet. Yes, thank you for being here, Big T. I appreciate it. And Sarah says, so no cheese with the apples and crackers. I can set you out a jar of peanut butter, lol. Michelle Bode says, Alone, thank you so much for showing me the spruce grouse. I've had that same experience trying to find out what that noise was. Thought it was some kind of machine. I'm in North Idaho. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought it was a machine running off in the background. In fact, Bill Dixon over at the Pungo Prairie left me a comment talking about how he had gotten up into his deer stand. And while he was in his deer stand, way out in the woods, he heard that same noise and also thought it was a machine. And he's an experienced hunter, an experienced outdoorsman. And he said when he finally stepped out of the deer stand and caught movement down on the ground below, he was able to see the grouse and realize what it was making the noise. And he said he felt really foolish for standing up there in his deer stand thinking there's no way there's an engine back here. But I'm glad that I'm not the only one who thought that, because last year I was like, where is that engine noise coming from? because there's nobody around me for a couple miles, and it's just like, how am I hearing that noise? I know noise travels pretty far here, but still, and I was like, it's annoying. But now that I know what it is, it's a welcome sound. It's amazing how perspective changes everything. And Dogman says, gotta go, folks. It's time for the puppies line dancing lessons. It's not easy being Dogman. Well, have a good night, Dogman, and keep those puppies in line. Appreciate you and appreciate you taking care of all of them. And Ashley says, just about everything with milk affects me in varying degrees. I love chocolate milkshakes, but the pain is on another level. I've been there, done that for sure, Ashley. So my heart goes out to you on that one, because yeah, I do like ice cream, but it does not like me. That's for sure. And Sci-Fi says, never had a mosquito problem with garlic consumption daily. Great monster repellent too. Oh my goodness. That's cute. Ashley says good night to Dogman. And there is Dixieland Homestead's channel link. Be sure to check them out, everybody, and pay them a visit. And Clint is saying good night to Dogman. And so is Dixieland and Rob over at the Curmudgeon Inn. And there is Big T's channel link over at the Rustic Log Cabin Life. Be sure to pay Big T a visit and say hi to him. And Big T is asking, is it raining up your way? Not today. It's been really cloudy with the threat of rain over the last couple of days. We did have rain over the weekend, though. I don't remember what day it was, but it rained pretty hard and heavy for just a little bit. I thought for sure it was going to stick around. But I'm be more than happy to send some elsewhere for sure, and let things continue to dry up here so I can get my driveway remedied. That's what my plans are in the immediate future. And Coy says, how long is your growing season? It's 90 days. I discussed that a little bit earlier, but yeah, 90 to 100 days. And it starts here in about 8 days from now. And Empress says, hello from South Carolina. Thank you for being here, Empress. I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining the chat. And Dixieland is saying thanks to Rob, and Rob saying you're welcome. And Steve Miller, thank you for being here again tonight. Steve is in Minnesota and says, just wondering how bad are the ticks? And if so, what about Lyme disease ticks are bad here this year? Thanks. Just love your chat. So ticks are a common thing in Alaska. In some areas of Alaska, there is a tick that causes a disease. They're ticks that get on rabbits more than anything, and dogs. But what happens is this particular tick gets on the rabbit, the dog catches the rabbit, and then the dog picks up the disease from the rabbit, not necessarily the tick itself. I wish I could remember. I think it's like Rocky Mountain fever or turbulose or something like that. That causes the disease in the dog, and you could get it yourself then from the dog if you come in contact with the saliva from the dog as you're taking the rabbit out of the dog's mouth. So I know in Fairbanks that's a real common problem up there, but I have not seen a tick here yet. I didn't see any last year on Kenai, and I keep checking him every time he goes outside now, but so far none, and I keep my fingers crossed that I don't see any, but they are here for sure. And hello, Wayne Sperlin. How you doing from Denver, North Carolina? So glad you can make it back again tonight. And Flavia, how are you doing tonight? And says, have you seen a wolverine? I have not seen a wolverine yet this year. I did see one last year, or the first year that I was here, and I had some tracks around my outhouse in December of that first winter that I was here. But none so far this last winter, and none yet this spring. So fingers crossed that I don't actually run into one, because I think out of all the animals that I could potentially run into, I actually think the wolverine is probably the one I fear the most. Because they just don't mess around. They'll come right after you more than anything else. And Brooklyn says, but you know who has seen a wolverine is Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn. So if you want to see what that's all about, you should check out his channel. He's got a couple of videos about the wolverines on his property. So he definitely has had some activity and some young wolverines nonetheless. And Brooklyn says, don't forget to smash that like button for Alone. Thank you, Brooklyn. I appreciate that very much. It means a lot to me. And Sarah says, alcohol is so new to the native experience that it just overwhelms the system. Just my understanding and theory. Yep, that is my understanding as well, is that they're not, their bodies haven't had the time to uh bring it into their DNA, if you will, like Europeans have for sure. And JR says some people didn't find that like button. It's right there, folks. It's Well, I can't do it. I can't point. My camera's backwards. It's right there. It's right there. I got to flip the camera around, I think. And Rob is saying that he was about to say the same thing. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Rob and Brooklyn and sorry, I'm getting caught up in myself, and JR here. Hello, Weed Eater. So glad you could make it here tonight. And Kenai says hello too, even though he's sleeping right now behind me. And Dogman says, before I go, I see 120 people in here, but only 74 likes. Come on, folks, smash the liver out of that like button. Thank you. Thank you, Dogman. I appreciate it. And Iris says, hello, Brooklyn. I'm out of Brooklyn for 6 decades, but I was born there and have family there, I think that's supposed to say. And AFJ says to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn, don't forget Alone's ribeye and homemade fries. Oh yeah, that's really what I want. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really say, I never say that I could be bought, but you could sweeten the pot with a ribeye and homemade fries. And again, it's like I'm all ears if you put that in front of me. I'm willing to sit and listen for sure, if nothing else. And Brooklyn says, hi, Ira. The city isn't changing for the better, unfortunately. Well, that's unfortunate because Brooklyn used to be quite the place. So I hope that someday it turns around for the better. And hello, Elizabeth. How are you doing tonight? Metabolism. Thank you. That's what I was going to say. The natives cannot metabolize the alcohol. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why my words sometimes escape me, but they definitely do. And Dixie says, I have been canning for the past 3 days, been harvesting a good bit out of the gardens. That is awesome. I'm so jealous that you guys are already harvesting things. Like I've wanted to get out there and start planting peas, which I probably could have already done actually. Got them out there, but with freezes still happening overnight, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to risk losing them. But I probably should have and just taken the chance. And Rob says, she will eat here. She will eat well here. Trust me. We had a blast at lunch on Saturday. Yes. So I did get to meet Rob and Sarah this past Saturday in town, and it was awesome getting to meet them. They are the sweetest people. And it really felt like I was catching up with long lost friends that I had known for years. They are so down to earth and genuine people. It says took forever to order because the 3 of us kept talking. Yep, that is true. We were just going at it, just yammering back and forth, all of us. And we sat there for a couple hours. It was a really nice lunch. So thank you again, Rob and Sarah, for inviting me to lunch with you. I really had a great time. And thank you for being here, Debbie, over at Our Bucket List Has Holes. So glad you could be here. And Debbie says, hello, Alone and everyone. I'm driving, but listening. Much love to you. Well, drive safe and don't get too distracted by the conversation. And Brooklyn says to Rob, hope all is well and the Starlink is working great for you guys. Yes, I'm curious to know how the Starlink is working out for you, Rob. And Brenfrey says, Alone, would you like to visit Australia one day? I would like to visit Australia one day, but I'm going to have to get that real ID before I can visit anywhere. So when I moved to Alaska and I got my driver's license, they didn't offer me the real ID, even though I had all of the paperwork for it. I actually just got the standard issue ID. And my understanding is that it'll be 2025 before Alaska. Well, I've heard 2 things. Originally, I heard it was May 3rd of this year that you were going to have your real ID in order to board a commercial airline. And then I heard just recently that it'll be 2025 before that goes into effect for the state of Alaska. Well, that might be if you're flying out of Alaska, but if you're in some other part of the world or country and you're trying to get back to Alaska, are they going to recognize that? Who knows? It'll be interesting to see how that all works out for everybody. And JR says, if you are your own best friend, you won't get lonely. This is true. And if you are always telling stupid jokes to yourself and finding humor in everything around you, you'll have less chance of getting lonely because you'll be laughing at your own self, which I do almost all day long. Rosemary Sorg says, good evening from Indiana. Well, thank you, Rosemary. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And Renee says, I planted tomatoes, cucumbers, and beans on April 15th, lettuce and onions in February, and they are almost gone now. Oh, wow. Well, I would expect with things warming up that your lettuce is probably bolted already. But hopefully your tomatoes are still producing for you and all the cucumbers and beans as well. But that's awesome that you were able to get things out so early. And there is our bucket list has Hole's channel link. Be sure to pay Debbie a visit and say hello to her from me. And Clint over at East Texas, or Clint says, East Texas has a long growing season. Just got to protect the crops through the blistering summer. Yeah, I would think that that would be a major concern, is all the heat and the sun that you guys get for sure. And Brooklyn says, Dixieland canning is my therapy. I swear, a lot of work, but so worth it. Yeah, I think once you get in the rhythm of canning, it's like a joy to do. And it's one of those things that is very relaxing because it's just that repetitive process. And then seeing the results and being able to eat the results later, the tasty results, is so fantastic as well. Rob says, it's going well, and meaning the Starlink. Starlink is going good. It has its issues, but I can deal with it as we just have a few satellites here. Yep, I understand they're putting more up all the time, but I am kind of waiting before I start thinking about getting the Starlink because I don't want to invest in something that's just as what's the word? Not functioning as well as, or that doesn't function any better than what I have now, is what I'm trying to say. Hello, Inik Mills. How are you doing tonight? Says hello alone. Good to see you. How is everything at your end? Still have all that mud in your driveway, I see. Hope that that sun will dry it out soon. I'm hoping the sun will dry it out soon too. I was walking out in the front of the cabin, like the normal parking pad area of the cabin, and looking at how soft and muddy the ground is still there. So it's been sunny today. I hope it's going to be sunny here the rest of the week. But yeah, we can use the sun to dry everything out for sure. And AFJ says to Rob, I'm sure y'all had an awesome time. We had a fantastic time. It was a real treat to getting to meet them. And Nanny Goat says, garden was planted March 15th. I cover my garden if temperature is close to 40 degrees. Okra is making small picks now, and peppers blooming. And I have tiny peppers too. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I need to get some stuff so I can do some uh, grow tunnels over the cabbages and things like that. Not that the cabbages, am I worried about cold temperatures, but I'm more worried about keeping out the moths and hopefully not getting cabbage aphids this year, because I've had them in the past and they're the worst. Absolutely hate the aphids on the cabbages. Hello, Alaska Cut the Cord. How are you doing, my friends? Adam and Phyllis. Be sure to check out their channel and pay them a visit also. I know I'm just saying, go to this channel, go to that channel, go to this channel, but trust me, these are good channels that you'll want to check out. And Alaska Cut the Cord says, hello, alone and all. Our plants are partly started and the rest will be planted on Saturday. That is fantastic. I'm so glad you guys are getting your garden in. And hopefully you guys didn't have too much flooding yet this year either, because I know you guys have that potential for flooding where you're at as well. And Ashley is saying hello, and so is Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn to Alaska's Cut the Cord. And Virginia says, hello, dear. You are so beautiful. Thank you. What is your hair and makeup regime? Has it changed since moving to Alaska? No. If anything, it's changed only in the fact that I have to make sure that I do my hair more often because I'm on YouTube. And otherwise I'll have roots that, are an inch or 2 inches long if I am not paying attention to it. But so someone had asked me this in one of the videos too, about how do I color my hair? Like, how am I getting my hair done if I'm living so remotely? Well, I color my hair myself here at the cabin. And I just take the water because it is not good for the ground. I will admit to that. So that is the one thing that I do that I don't really like, the solution that I have in place right now. I mean, the only other solution I would have is to just stop coloring my hair. But I take the water from rinsing all of the peroxide out of my hair, and I walk it off down the driveway where it's away from, anything that I might be harvesting, like mushrooms or um, the lingonberries, things like that. And I dump the water in the driveway. So I don't dump it in the grass or in the shrubberies or anything like that. So hopefully it's not killing anything either. And then as far as my makeup, you guys would be surprised to know what I use for makeup, but it is just cornstarch. That's all I put on my face is cornstarch. I don't actually put on foundation or anything like that. I do put on sunscreen. So I use an SPF 50 sunscreen. It is a prescription sunscreen that I use. And then after that, I just put cornstarch over that. And that's all I use as setting powder. I don't put on anything else other than mascara and eyeliner. I'm a really simple girl. So, but it didn't really change any as far as, having to do anything different once I moved up here or doing less. It's just I actually color my hair more often because before I was only coloring it 4 times a year, and now I'm probably coloring it every 3 months. Well, is that right? No, that'd be 4 times a year. So I'm probably coloring it about every 2 months now is how often I color. And Brooklyn is waving at ACTC. And that's Alaska Cut the Cord. And Alaska Cut the Cord's channel is right there for everybody as well. So thank you for putting that up there, Rob. I greatly appreciate it. And Ira says, planted tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, squash, Asian beans, okra, and collards, and butter beans. All of that and everything else that everyone else has mentioned. Planting sounds fantastic. I have to admit, I'm a big fan of collards as well as butter beans. Lima beans as well. I think they're fantastic. I know a lot of people are like, ugh, lima beans, but you can put them on my plate. I'll eat them. I love lima beans. And Ira says, ferns, or I'm sure that's supposed to say currants and gooseberries might do well for you. So there are some places down by Valdez where I know there's some wild currants growing. Um, I don't know if my soil is right for the currants or the gooseberries. They take like their acidity levels have to be just so with them both. But I would love to be able to find gooseberries here in Alaska too. That would be fantastic if I could get to them before the bears do. And hello, Jeff Outdoors. How are you doing tonight? So glad you could make it. And says evening, like your channel. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. And Sarah says, that's how I am alone. I almost changed my mind about going into town, even after being here since September. It's easy for me because I have great company and Rob. Besides, I was meeting new friends. Yep, friends for sure. And yeah, it's hard because you get used to being by yourself out here, or when you live alone in general, at least here, because it's so quiet and so peaceful. And then when you go into town, it's like I said, it is sometimes overwhelming, and you have to almost talk yourself into it, like, okay, yeah, let's go into town. Let's do this. Let's get it done. And AFJ is saying to Ashley, hello from the heart of Dixie. Clint says, have you captured any critters on the trail cams, or do we have to wait to see? You're going to have to wait to see because I actually haven't checked them yet. So it was just what, Wednesday or Thursday when I put those out there, and I haven't walked back out to check them, but I will before this next video. So I will show what I captured in the trail cams on Thursday's video, Thursday or Friday, depending upon when it goes up. And everyone is saying hello to Ashley, and Ashley saying hello to AFJ. And hello, CJ. Thanks for being here again tonight. CJ says, good evening, Alone and Alone YouTube family members. Yes, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And Ashley is saying, cut the cord, VW rocks. And Bill Dixon, hello. How are you doing tonight, my friend Bill? Bill says, hoping things are drying up by now, Alone. Also hoping you are able to get your garden in. Sending much love from Tally Girl and me here on the Pungo Prairie. The garden will be going in very soon, and things are starting to dry up slowly but surely. But I do want to tell everyone, be sure to check out Bill's channel as well. He is an awesome guy. And thank you, Dog Man, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. especially since you've got a lot going on your channel and your life as well. But I really appreciate your support. So thank you. And Rob is saying the Kilchers have an Airbnb as well. Oh, that's nice to know. I had no idea that they did. That's very cool. And Rob is saying hi to Bill Dixon. And there is Bill Dixon's channel link for everybody. Be sure to pay him a visit if you would be so kind to do so. And Alaska Cut the Cord says, thank you, Ashley. We're trying to figure out how to get it shipped up here. So there is a new video, it sounds like, to watch. And Clint is saying hello to Bill Dixon. And Rob is saying to Alaska Cut the Cord, I want to take that for a spin. I need to watch the vid again. Sounds like a fun video, everyone. Time to go check out their channel. And Ashley says, cut the cord. If you can wait a couple of years, I'll bring it up for a small fee. There you go. Patience is the key there on that one. And Matt says to Rob, successfully figured out how to cut out some working words from my family. My family wouldn't appreciate, lol. Oh my goodness. I can imagine when you're about to get in an accident, your choice of language isn't the first thing on your mind. And hello, Judith. How are you doing tonight? Judith is coming to us from Southern Ohio. I so appreciate all you Alaskan YouTubers. Well, thank you. I'm sure that from all of my friends here that have YouTube channels in Alaska, we appreciate you as well. And Alaska Cut the Cord says, hopefully we don't have to wait a couple of years to get the VW up. And Ashley saying, hope not. Rob says, let's give her a few more thumbs up, folks. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that very much. And Ira says, we finally got an hour of rain here today after a very prolonged drought. My plants are so happy. I would imagine so. An hour-long rain, that sounds nice on days when it's been hot and dry for a long period of time. And Tony over at the Rustic Log Cabin says, the company that makes my website editor answered my email from Saturday. There is no known problem with Windows 10. Maybe I'm a Goomba, lol. Well, if you are, welcome to the club because I am as well. And Big T says virtual mechanics. Yes. And Yvonne Marie, how are you doing tonight? So glad you could be here with all of us in the chat. And Delia Garcia, thank you for being here as well. And Delia says, hi, hello alone. Nice to be here. Well, it's nice to have both of you here as well, you and Yvonne. And Rob is saying hello as well. And Kathy, how are you doing tonight? Kathy says, I'm number 100 on the like button. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here with us tonight. Yvonne says that she's from Alberta, Canada. It's raining finally. Needed it badly for all the fires around us. Hope you are having better luck in Alaska. So far, no fires yet, but I know they're coming. It won't be long. I was saying earlier in the chat that despite the fact that there's been flooding recently and that the ground is still saturated, the fire danger is extremely high right now, at least on this side of the state. I can't tell you what it is in other parts of the state, but right now we are definitely in a fire danger area right now. So I'm glad you got some rain around you, and hopefully that'll help to combat those fires around you and that everyone is staying safe despite the fires. Hey, Two Bears, how are you doing tonight, my friend? Two Bears says, good evening, everybody. Sorry, I'm so late. It's okay, Two Bears. At least you made it. That's what counts. And Wendy says, good evening. I found the like button. I hope you had a blessed day. What is the weather like? Today, it's about 50 degrees outside. At least I think that's what the high was. And it's really sunny, a little bit breezy outside, but other than that, it's been good. The last few days have been kind of cloudy with threats of rain. I'm not sure what the weather is supposed to be the rest of the week, but things are starting to warm up here nicely and starting to dry out, which is nice. Thank you, Flavia, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. It means a lot to me to get that. And Flavia says, is it possible the tracks you saw were Wolverine tracks? I hope not. No, the Wolverine tracks are pretty obvious, at least in the snow when you see them. They're a bigger, flatter track that with multiple claw marks, quite obvious. The bear paw print has more of a elongated pad on it. So those for sure were bears down by the lower trail cam. And then the tracks that I showed with the two outer ones and the one in the middle, there have been a lot of comments. Race in Alaska, I think, even made one of the comments saying that that they were pretty certain that that was a moose with dew claws, and that the moose had slid up into the mud, and then so the outer ones were the dew claws, and the inner one was actually the two hooves coming together. And I did look up some images that I'll show in this week's video that showed exactly that. They're very similar. They're not identical to what I saw, but after looking at it, it's like, okay, I can see it now. Yeah, that's definitely plausible. So the ones that I was standing by and outlining in the beginning of the video, pretty sure those were moose as raised in Alaska, and some of the others had pointed out. But let's hope it's not the Wolverine. And Donna says hi to Two Bears. And Old Tavern says, for Hardy Apples, Rob Osborne, Hardy Apples, a great book. I am writing that down, Lee. Thank you very much. Hardy Apples, Rob Osborne. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate the suggestion. And Sandra Soto Rivera, sorry about that. Thank you for being here. Following from Costa Rica. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And Philip Ferguson, so glad you can make it back tonight. And Philip says, I'm always late, but always show. Well, that's good. I really appreciate you joining us in the chat week after week. It means a lot to me. And Ira says, hi, Brooklyn. My nephews moved there from the suburbs, and I cannot believe the rents there. Good luck on your move to Alaska. Yes, Brooklyn, I agree. And Brooklyn says, this mayor is pushing for the city to allow homeless encampments and turn us into California and Portland with tent encampments everywhere. Oh my goodness. When I was in Anchorage the other day, I saw a lot of tent encampments around one of the Home Depots there in Anchorage. And I know when my son came out, he was saying that there were some homeless encampments around some of the shops that he had driven by and what have you. So it's happening everywhere. It's not just, in New York and California and Portland. I know Denver was having that issue before I left as well. And with the influx of, illegal immigrants coming across the border, it's only going to get worse. There's only so much housing available and so much aid available, and we're going to see more and more of it. I'm afraid, and it's unfortunate. Hey Jim, how are you doing tonight? Jim in Alaska in the house. And Jim says he put a contract on 10 acres around Willow. Yay! I'm so happy for you, Jim. Jim's been looking for property for quite some time now. Jim was living up here originally in Whittier, and had recently moved back down to the States for the winter and is now back in Alaska. I'm so happy that you found property. So everyone pay Jim a visit over on his channel and give him a congratulations on his contract. And hopefully everything goes smoothly and you'll be on your new property before you know it. That's awesome, Jim. I'm so happy for you. Hi, Iron Dogger. How are you doing tonight? Iron says, I head out to our cabin on the 10th. It's way out in Point Mac. That is awesome. And Iron Dogger, I'm sure you have a channel. And so everyone be sure to check out Iron Dogger's channel as well and follow along on all of their adventures. That's awesome that you're getting to head out to your cabin finally. I'm sure you're excited. And Brooklyn is also saying congrats to Jim. And so is Ashley, as Ashley says, hello, Jim. That's great news. And Bill Dixon saying hi to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn. And Sarah is saying, yep, yo. JR says, passport will trump a real ID driver's license. Yes, a passport will trump it if your passport is up to date. So if your passport is expired within 6 months, you can get a new passport without any issues. Mine, unfortunately, is more expired than that. So I would have to get my passport updated as well in order to travel right now. Shame on me. I should have done it before I moved to Alaska, and then it wouldn't have been an issue for sure. And Rob is saying hello to Jim in Alaska, and Ashley is saying hello to Two Bears. JR is saying to Jim in Alaska, congrats on the contract. Hope it goes through. I agree. I hope that you get your place. That's awesome. And Sarah says, yep, meeting you was the main reason I gathered up my courage to go into town. It was well worth the effort. Well, I really appreciate you doing so, Sarah. And the next time I'll come your direction, and then we'll be able to spend more time catching up and chatting, because I definitely appreciate you guys for sure. And Rob is saying hello to Two Bears. And there is Brooklyn's channel link over at Brooklyn's Frugal Pantry. Be sure to check out Brooklyn's channel. Thank you, Rob, for putting that up. And Dixieland says to Brooklyn, yes, it is, but it is a way of life for me. The canning, that is. We have hurricane season. Oh, I'm off on topics here. Uh, Let me start that over, folks. Sorry about that. Dixieland says to Brooklyn, yes, it is, but it's a way of life for me. We have hurricane season every year, do it for several reasons, but even more so for hurricane season. Maybe I am right that it is about the canning so that they have food to eat during the hurricane season. I apologize. JR says Starlink was launching 5 rockets a month first few months of 2023. I'm not sure if that's a lot of rockets or a little amount of rockets because I'm not really following how many rockets they eventually plan to get up in the sky. But I still am going to wait just a little bit and see how it's performing for everybody. Because I know when Dennis Petit was on here that he was saying that there were those 20-minute blackout periods. And that would prevent my videos from uploading because right now they're taking several hours to upload. And if they stop, I have to start all over again. So I want to wait till it gets up. And Roy Big V says, is it Monday? It is Monday. It definitely is Monday for sure. And Sarah says, we also met and spent time with Adam and Phyllis over at Alaska Cut the Cord, the best trip in down in 2 years. That's fantastic. And Adam and Phyllis are saying hi to Sarah. And Big T over at Rustic Log Cabin Life says, does anyone have a rhubarb start I can have? Well, I have plenty of rhubarb crowns that I could probably dig up, Big T, and send one off to you in the mail. But that'd be about the only way I'd be able to get one to you right now. And I'm not sure if it would survive, but maybe. But I have plenty of rhubarb crowns on the property for sure. And Ashley says to Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn, I finished another bag today for my daughter's graduation. I'll send you pics. And there is Alaska Cut the Cords channel link for everybody. Be sure to pay Adam and Phyllis a visit if you would, please. And Rob is saying to Ashley, please do. I cannot wait to see it. Whoops, I skipped a comment there. Sorry about that, JR. JR says, Alone doesn't recommend anything she doesn't watch or use. This is true. I have a hard time with the sponsorships that you see people do in their videos because I remember when I was growing up that you couldn't endorse. It was illegal for you to endorse a product that you didn't actually use. And then they started putting up, this is a paid actor and what have you. Well, I think the YouTubers that are doing some of the sponsorships, that they should basically say the same thing. Look, I'm a paid actor. I haven't actually used this product. Someone's just given me a free product or some money to talk about their product. But as soon as this is over, I'm going to set it to the side and I'm never going to touch it again. That's how it feels to me, at least on some of them. I'm not saying everybody's that way, but there are definitely some that I watch and I'm like, you're not using that. That has nothing to do with your lifestyle. Like, no. And I get sponsorship emails all the time. And sometimes they're kind of funny because they're like, we love your content and we think that you would be the perfect fit for our high-end jewelry collection. I'm like, I'm a girl living out in the middle of the woods. What do I need with high-end jewelry? It cracks me up. I'm like, you've never seen my channel. So thank you for that, JR. Ashley says to Big T over at Rustic Log Cabin Life, I do, but probably too far away. Yeah, I wonder how long it would take to ship up, Ashley. And Sarah says, hi, Adam and Phyllis. Hope to see you again soon. Lovely visit. Thanks. Onto it, Aussie. Thank you for being here again tonight. Good morning to you as well. And to everyone else, good morning, or Onto it, Aussie says. And Curmudgeon Inn is saying hello to Onto it, Aussie. And Deep Bay Homestead, thank you for joining us tonight. Evening, all. Glad to see you live tonight. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. JR says to Onto it, Aussie, good day and evening to you. And Matt says to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn, oh no, my video is partially blocked on YouTube for copyright, but only in Russia and Belarus. I think I'll be fine, lol. It's set to unlisted anyway. Oh my goodness. Onto it, Aussie is saying hi to Rob, and Rob is saying hello to Deep Bay Homestead. And there is Deep Bay Homestead's channel link. Be sure to pay them a visit as well. And Rob is saying, oh my goodness, Matt, what the heck did you say when they cut you off? Oh my goodness. Sarah says, Alone, you are probably too young to go natural, but when you're ready, try frosting to go natural gradually. Yeah. I, because I bleach my hair, I was thinking I'll probably never know when I'm actually going gray, because not only am I bleaching it, but then I'm toning it so it has a little bit of a platinum or a silver look to it. And yeah, that way it'll probably happen fine over time. I'm ready for it to go gray any moment. They can do it. Then I wouldn't have to bleach anymore. Matt says it was for the music. I was jamming too while someone almost cut him off on the road. Deep Bay Homestead is saying thank you to Rob for the channel link. And Joan Pavalier, how are you doing tonight? So glad you could be here. Joan says, good evening to everyone. We're glad you're here, Joan. And Raisin Alaska says, I always look forward to trail cam videos. Yes, well, and luckily, my son helped me last year when I was here to set one of them to video, because one was set to record video and the other one was taking still photos. That's why I only have a snapshot of the bear. But hopefully this year I do get videos of both of them or on both of the trail cams. So, and Big or Roy G says, have you seen a mountain man? Nope, I've not seen anything yet. I've seen some of my counterparts that live down the road from me. They look like mountain men, but I've not seen Bigfoot, if that's what you're asking. Not yet, anyhow. And Onto It Aussie says to JR, hello and good evening to you. And yep, it's Tuesday morning here in Australia and a glorious autumn day. That's awesome. And Joan is saying hi to Rob. And Debbie Lovebetter, how are you doing tonight? Says dropping late again from Kentucky. Well, I'm just glad you made it. So happy to have you here with us. And Weed Eater says, take care. I must go. It's Monday. Yeah, well, be safe out there and take care, Weed Eater. And I will talk to you soon. And thank you for sending me those wonderful photos of your last trip. I appreciate it too. And there is Bill Dixon's channel link for everybody over at the Pungo Prairie. Be sure to check out Bill's channel. He is a fantastic cook and also a joy to watch. And Deep Bay Home said, I did not know that on the Kilchers either. Yeah, learn something new every day, I swear. And hello, Ed, my friend over at Mountain Mariner Off-Grid, Alaska. How are you doing? Miss seeing you around lately. And Ed says, hello from Louisiana. Woo woo. You're a ways away from home, boy. Oh my goodness. And Dixieland Homestead says hi to Onto It Aussie. And hello, Patricia. How are you doing tonight? So glad to see you in the chat again. Patricia says hello, and all community members. It's good to be here with you. Well, we agree. We're glad you're here with us as well. And you're getting hellos from Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn and Dixieland Homestead. And Rob is also saying hi to Ed at Mountain Mariner Off-Grid, Alaska, and asking, what the heck are you doing way down that way in Louisiana? I agree. Ashley's also asking Ed, and Ed is asking, how were the fiddleheads, Rob? And Bill Dixon saying hello to Clint. And hello, Chris Watson. How are you doing, my friend? And Chris says, hola, ¿cómo estamos, mi amigos? Bien, ¿y tú? I'm so glad you're here, Chris. Thank you for being here with us tonight in the chat and always bringing a little humor along with you. I appreciate it. And JR is saying to Ed over at Mountain Mariner Off-Grid, Alaska, wondered where you got to, and to be safe, of course. Always be safe. And Onto It Aussie is saying hello to Dixieland Homestead. And Rob is saying to Ed over at Mountain Mariner, very good. The fiddleheads, that is, more are popping every day. That's fantastic. Ed is saying, unfortunately, my time off in the mountains has an intermission. License renewal mandatory classes. Boo. But at least you're getting them done so that you can stay employed. That's a big thing too. And Dixieland is saying hi to Ed over there at Mountain Mariner. And Rob is saying, yep, CEU are a pain in the you-know-what. And Roy is saying, lol. Ed says, should be back home on Friday. That's awesome. I hope you have a safe trip back, Ed, for sure. And Ashley is saying that they give you sympathy for having to take those classes. And there is Ed's channel link, everybody. Be sure to check out Ed's channel. Much appreciated if you would do that. And Deep Bay Homestead says to Yvonne, Ontario, Canada here. My prayers are for you guys in Alberta with all of the fires. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. JR says to Ed over at Mountain Mariner, used to have to do the same kind of thing for captains, CK for the jets I flew. Yep. So many jobs require retraining every year that, it's just one of those things you have to get through. Ed says advanced firefighter refresher courses on Wednesday in 90-degree weather should be fun. Don't pass out. That's all I'm saying. With all that gear on, that's a lot. Hi, Lori. How you doing tonight? I'm so glad you could be here. Says hi, Area and friends. Thinking of you, or thinking of our Canadian friends dealing with the fires. We had the smoke from them all the way in Maryland last week. Wow, that really traveled far. Well, I hope that you're doing fine, Lori, and I hope everything is going well for you as well, and that smoke is remedied soon for not only yourself and those affected by the fires. And Roy says, could be the tracks have been moose knuckles or possibly yeah, sorry, dude, gone. Sorry, sorry, folks. JR is saying hi to Lori. And Virginia says, how is your expedition doing these days? And any new plans for your balcony? The expedition is doing fine. I do need to have it serviced, though. It hasn't been serviced since I got here. Well, that's not exactly true. I had some issues with it and had some work done on it, but I need to take it in and have it serviced, especially with all the miles I've been putting on it. So that needs to be done. And plans for the balcony are still on hold temporarily, especially considering that I've been buying furniture for the cabin. So there's where some of my money's been going. And then also I need to get the driveway done. So that's going to be the immediate plan, and getting the back of the property fenced in. Those will be the two big projects I think that are going to take place this summer. And then next summer is potentially when I'm going to have the balcony done, because my contractor actually has a big job this summer. So after I, explained everything that had taken place to him, he luckily got a call the very next day for someone who needed a lot of work done. So I didn't feel so bad having to say, hey, things are on hold. But he'll be back out here next summer, and we'll get that awning cover put over the Arctic entry, and then balcony off on the back of the cabin as well. And hi, Deborah Smith. How are you doing tonight? Deborah says, hey, I made it. Well, I'm glad you're here. Better late than never, as I say. So thank you for being here with us. And Rob is saying to Ed over at the Mountain Mariner, I left Southwest Florida because of that heat. Yeah, 90-degree heat is a lot, but there are places that get a lot hotter. And my sympathies go out to everybody that's living with all that heat. And Lori is saying hello to JR. Says, good evening, friend. And Betty K, how are you doing tonight? Betty K says, good evening, Alone and the Alone fans. Well, we're glad you're here with us, Betty K. And Alaska Cut the Cord is saying congrats to Jim in Alaska. Look us up. Yes, definitely look up Adam and Phyllis. You'll have some good friends there for sure. And Chris Watson says, Portland is an international city. Intentional city, intentional urban cesspool, and that's just the politics. Yes, unfortunately, that's how a lot of places are becoming these days. It is intentional for sure. And Delia says, great for you, Jim. Congratulations. JR says, veterans got kicked out of a hotel while waiting for appointments at the VA so they could fill the rooms with illegals. I think it was in Connecticut. That should be illegal. That should be absolutely against the law. Our veterans went to fight for our country and for our freedoms and our rights, and they should get preferential treatment first and foremost, especially over someone who came into this country without due process. And that's just my opinion. And I am sorry, but our veterans mean a lot to this country, and they should be taken care of. I think they need our help more than anybody who came in here illegally. And Anto Adasi says the homeless situation and the cost of living crisis is absolutely crazy in Australia too. I think it's almost worldwide. This influx of homelessness and the things that are going on, and the government isn't helping. I saw a thing yesterday that said something about how there's an abundance of job openings in America right now, but they'll never be filled because the government is paying people to stay at home. I don't know what that's happening through right now, but they said they're paying people to stay home, and there's no requirement to prove that you're out looking for a job or to get a job or a cutoff time frame or whatever. And so as long as that's continuing, then you know then we're going to have these issues of people that become dependent upon the government, and then when the government cuts you off, you're going to be in a world of hurt is what's really going to happen, I think. And Deep Bay Homestead says to Ed, that's some hot weather to work in, the 90-degree there in Louisiana doing your fire training. And Ira says, I heard that in New York they are housing the immigrants in exclusive hotels on a taxpayer's money. Does not surprise me. Does not surprise me at all. And Rob is saying hello to the Iron Dogger. And Dixieland Homestead says, what part of Alaska is the most remote? There are some very remote places. There are some communities. Now, I don't know what the most remote part is. Probably some of the islands, to be quite honest with you, like Adak and what have you, but Adak. But there are some communities along the Yukon River where they literally have to barge in supplies to those communities, and then the people are, going in via quads and snow machines and whatever else to get back to their properties. Yukavik or Barrow is pretty remote as well. The only way you can get there is by plane, or if you're coming up through the Arctic. But other than that, I honestly couldn't tell you. But I know there are a lot of communities here that are a lot more remote than I am. I'm remote in the sense that I'm hours from industry, or there's not really anything around me. There's no businesses around this area of Alaska. And then also by the federal government standard, they consider this area that I live to be remote. So that qualifies me for federal subsistence hunting in this area. But there are areas that are not on the road system. So I'm in the only area that is on the road system considered remote, but there are other areas that are definitely way more remote than I am, for sure. And JR says, mine was expired for 3 years and went right through for renewal, meaning his passport. That's interesting. I might try that because someone had made the comment about, that me not getting the real ID because I have no intention of going back. And they're like, well, what if one of your family members has an emergency and they need you there? And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, time to be real with this real ID and get it taken care of, because they're right. Something could happen and I might have to go back in an emergency, and better to have it than have to wait till the government offices open up and get it. So, and Dixieland Homestead saying congratulations to Jim in Alaska. And Rob has put up Old Tavern's channel link for everybody. So be sure to check out Lee's channel. She'll be very appreciative of that. And Mountain Mariner saying, going to bed. I've been going nonstop since Sunday morning, and I've got class in the morning. Good night, everyone. Well, good night, Ed. Be safe and take care. And thank you for stopping in. And looking forward to when you get back to Alaska. And Dixieland says, thank you to Roy G. Yeah. And Kermudge says to Mountain Mariner, good night. Sorry. And there is Raised in Alaska's channel link for everybody. Be sure to pay Raised in Alaska a visit if you would, please. I would appreciate that. And I'm sure he would too. And JR says 50 to 64 sats per rocket. Oh, wow. That's pretty crazy. I did not realize that. That's a lot. Yikes. And Ashley saying good night to Ed as well. And Antossi says, lol, no, it's Tuesday. Yep, I got it now. I'm a little slow on the uptake. Not Monday, but it's Tuesday where you're at. And Brooklyn says, Dixieland, it's definitely a way of life for me too. Completely understand. Just added another 48-inch wire canning shelf. Brooklyn, you're going to run out of room. And hello, Michelle. How are you doing? And Michelle says, good evening from Central Texas. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And I appreciate Rob putting up Bren Free's channel link for everybody. Be sure to check out Bren's channel. And Dixieland said, that is awesome. To Brooklyn, I have outgrown my canning pantry, so I'm going to try to build an outdoor canning kitchen and pantry. That's fantastic. That's awesome. I hope to get an outdoor kitchen soon too, though I don't think it'll be happening this year. But it's already at the point here where I no longer want to light the wood stove during the daylight hours because it's just too warm and it heats up the cabin way too fast. In the evening, maybe, but not during the day. So canning is definitely going to be done. Well, anyhow, it'd be done on the propane cook stove, but that would be done outside regardless. But I'd like to get an outdoor kitchen nonetheless. And Deep Bay Homestead said sponsorships should be done because you use the product, not for the potential value money that they'll pay you. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that if you really love a product, that you should reach out. Now, granted, I realize they'll reach out to you too, but you should be reaching out to the company and saying, "Hey, I'd love to do a sponsorship of your product. You know, I'm a big fan. I use your product all the time," and that's how it should come about. But it's not that way, unfortunately. And JR says Athletic Greens is on a big push for creators to push their product. I have no idea what that is. No idea what that is. And Rob has put up Dixieland Homestead's channel link for everybody. So be sure to pay Dixieland a visit if you will. And Billy Bob, how are you doing tonight? I missed you. Billy Bob says, oh, me, oh my, the agony and the thrills. Hope you all are well. We are, and we hope you are too, Billy Bob. So glad you made it to the chat. And same to you, Diana, my friend. How are you doing tonight? Says hello, everyone. Better late than never. Well, I'm so glad you've made it to the chat. And Rob is saying hello to Billy Bob and hello to Diana as well. Two Bear says, I've shipped several packages to Alaska. It doesn't take long. Wrap the rhubarb roots in wet paper and just put the roots in a plastic bag. And do you have to say live plant on it or anything when you do that? Do you have to let them know that you're shipping in a plant from the lower 48? I wonder. And there is Big T's channel link for everybody. Be sure to pay Big T a visit over there at the Rustic Log Cabin Life. And Diana is saying hi to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn. Billy Bob says grouse is the only animal in your area that has 3 toes. Yes, but their prints are very obvious because it looks like a bird print. That I've seen in the snow. I've followed them through the snow, but this is definitely a bigger animal for sure. And Chris Watson says, contemplating a few fingers of Mr. James Beam's black bourbon, sipping the cares of life, work, family, and the dog hair on my bed away. Well, pour an extra one for me if you would, Chris. And Rob put up our bucket list has Holds channel link, so be sure to pay Debbie a visit over there at her channel if you would. And there is Alaska Cut the Quartz channel link as well, so be sure to stop by and say hi. Old Tavern Farm says maybe bragging here, but our youngest son just signed off post from the Army. That counts down 2 sons out, 1 left to leave. Go Army, beat Navy, lol. Congratulations, Lee. I'm sure you're so proud of them. That's awesome. And there is Bill Dixon at the Pungo Prairie's channel link. Everybody be sure to pay Bill Dixon a visit if you would. And New England Coast, how are you doing tonight? I'm glad you could be here. Hello from Cape Cod, Maryland. So awesome to have you join us in the chat. Brooklyn says to Dixieland, my pantry is in my long, wide hallway, living room, coat closet, foyer, TV stand, and cabinets. Oh my goodness. Like I said, Brooklyn, you are going to run out of room. And Diana says to Old Tavern, thank you to your sons and to you. I agree. Thank you to everybody who has children that are in the military or you yourself have been in the military as well. I appreciate all of your service and the service of your family members also. And Chris Watson says, my chat feed disappeared. Oh, no. That's not good. I saw that when I was watching Rob's channel over the Curmudgeon Inn when I was watching his live. The same thing happened. And there is his channel link, by the way, everybody. And I'm sure Rob will probably be having a live this Friday if he doesn't have something else going on. So be sure to check out his channel and his live on Friday. And Chip Muir, how are you doing tonight, my friend? So glad to see you here tonight. And Chip says, good evening alone. Good evening to you too, Chip. So happy you could be here. And Chris Watson says that the live chat is back up. That's good. I'm so glad that it came back. I don't know why it's doing that lately. And Ernie says, whenever I plant fruit trees, the bears and the deer get them. Take care, everyone. Love your channel. Thank you, Ernie. I appreciate that. And I do plan, if I do plant any trees, that they're going to be planted within the fence that I'm putting up, which will have electric run along the side of it. When I was talking to my contractor about the fence, they were joking about that there would be guard turrets out there and Constantine wire at the top of it. I told him it's not quite that bad, but yes. And Lee is saying thank you to Diana. And there is Ernie's Cabins channel link. Thank you for putting that up, Rob. Everyone, please stop by and say hi to Ernie from me. I would appreciate that. And Diana says, Ernie's cabin, the deer used to eat my baby trees and rose bushes when I lived in eastern Colorado. Yep, they're guilty of eating just about anything they can get a hold of. Chris Watson, it says to Lee over at Old Tavern Farm, here, no squids allowed. Oh my goodness. Yvonne Marie says, thank you very much, Deep Bay Homestead. Yes, our heart goes out to you and everyone in your surrounding area for sure, Yvonne. And Dixieland says to Brooklyn, I know what you mean about having canning stuff everywhere. Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn says, he pops in again. I ban him. I already did, folks. Yeah, I cleaned that up. I got it. He's in a timeout. So no worries. Thank you for that, Rob. Appreciate it. And Paul Davis says, good evening. We are getting some smoke from Canada also. Oh my goodness. Smoke is everywhere. Well, hopefully the fires die down soon. But I do want to say thank you for being here tonight, Paul. I appreciate you popping into the chat. And Chris Watson says, smoke from the north in Maryland. I just thought it was the state house being dealt divine justice. Dang it. Not yet, anyhow, Chris, not yet. And Diana says to the New England coast, go Pats. And Deep Bay Homestead says, beautiful to have a helpful and talented son. Yes, I agree. And Clint says 90 degrees is a cool front around here during the summer. I think Clint is made of steel because the man just doesn't seem to melt. I think you love the heat, Clint. I don't know how you do it. You got more willpower to live there than I do, that's for sure. Ashley says the Canadian smoke has one benefit: beautiful sunrise and sunsets, kind of eerie at the same time, though. Yes, I would think so, especially when you know where those beautiful sunsets are being driven by. And Dixieland says, I totally agree. Ira says, I know that Homer, Alaska has excellent farmers markets. Do you have any that are close to you to buy local? I understand that in one of the neighboring communities that there is a farmers market of sorts, but I've not been there. I saw it last year, but it was like I was on my way out when I saw it. And I didn't have a chance to stop. So I'm going to try to stop by this year and see how it is. But I don't think it happens very often. I don't actually know because I don't actually leave the cabin that often. And if I am, I'm usually just heading into Anchorage to get shopping done. So, but it'd be nice to hit a farmer's market and get local produce as opposed to the Cars, which is Safeway produce, or Fred Meyer's. And Rob is saying to Clint, the different when it's 100% humidity. That is true. 90 degrees and 100% humidity is miserable. And JR says government is paying the hotel $199 a day each room. The homeless problem is all up and down I-5 in Oregon, not just Portland, Salem, and Eugene. Oh my goodness. It's, ugh, that's horrible. $199 a day. That means that we're paying $199 a day. That's our money. That's taxpayer money going to pay for those rooms. Even if it's just Portland citizens paying for it, still, that's their tax dollars that are paying for the homeless. $199 a day. Think about where your tax money could go. Yikes. Dixieland says everyone that can be self-sufficient should be. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. And Ashley agrees too. And Chris, thank you for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that. You've been around with the channel from the very beginning, and I appreciate you and your membership. So thank you, Chris. That means a lot to me. And Brooklyn says, yep, veterans are on the streets and have been arrested for homeless encampments. What? But migrants are housed for free in over 50% of our hotel rooms. It's backwards, folks. Absolutely backwards. Two Bears says, that hotel deal, sorry, I'm getting lost here. There we go. There's that one. Two Bears says, that hotel deal was in New York State. The Texas governor is shipping busloads of border jumpers to New York City, and the mayor is having a meltdown, and he wants to spread them across New York State. And our governor is fighting with him over it. Oh my goodness. Yikes. Well, I don't blame the Texas governor for getting them out of Texas, but I wish he could send them back south across the border instead of sending them to elsewhere in the country, because nobody else wants the illegal immigrants in their backyard either. So Clint says to Curmudgeon, true, always humid around here. Well, at least you have, to be honest with you, a dry heat feels good, but at least you have some humidity at some point, because when it's too dry, there's issues there also. And Dixieland is saying goodnight to Ed over at Mountain Mariner and telling him to be safe. JR says, I think the limit was 5 years before you have to reapply and not renew. Verify for yourself. I will definitely do that, JR. Thank you for that. Because I need to do something one way or another. I wonder which one's cheaper. It's probably still cheaper for me to get the real ID than it is to go get my passport renewed. But either way, I need to do something. Hi, Seashell. How you doing tonight? Seashell be in the house, everyone. And Seashell says, hello, alone. And awesome people in chat. Had a few things to take care of this evening, but better late than miss the fun. Well, we're glad you're here to join us in all the fun. And we wouldn't want, or it wouldn't be a party without you. That's for sure. And Rob says, we are remote, but we cannot get the subs hunting. Yeah. So I need to figure out, and I tried to figure it out. Like when I was making the video that I did about what it takes to live in a remote area of Alaska, things to be aware of. I was trying to figure out what qualifies someone as remote for the federal subsistence hunting. And on any of the government web pages, I could find nothing. But I did find things over the course of time that said this area, particularly that I live in, is the only area on the road system that is considered remote in Alaska. So, which is pretty interesting. And so Rob, for everyone who is interested, he lives up in Talkeetna, and the only way he can get down into town is via the train. So he's a train hopper. He gets down to the whistle stop and gets on the train and picks up his supplies and brings the train back home. So, and then hikes them up to his property. And Chris says, if you want to be a sanctuary city, then take it with your lumps. Yep. Yeah, take your lumps. That's for sure. If you get what you ask for, that's for sure. And Rob is saying hi to Seashell B. And Ashley is also saying hi. Brooklyn says they're getting a year of free hotels, food, and care while our veterans get nothing but the shaft. That is so wrong. Absolutely wrong. Our veterans haven't been getting the care and the thanks, if you will, that they need for a very long time, decades, absolute decades, that they have not been getting the support that they need. And now things are worse than ever. So that's just not right. And Seashell saying hi to Curmudgeon and Ashley, and Alaska Cut the Cord is also saying hi to Seashell B. Brooklyn says, I've been out of room. My daughter caused, I've been out of my room. her daughter cussed her out and threatened to throw my jars away. Oh, because you've been out of room for all your jars. Yeah, that's from what I understand, you are going to be just having a narrow path through your apartment as you keep canning there. It sounds like. JR says from SpaceX, in total, nearly 12,000 satellites are planned to be deployed, with a possible later extension to 42,000. Oh my goodness. That is crazy. I saw an image that showed how many satellites, not just SpaceX and all of this, not just Starlink, but like how many satellites altogether are flying around our planet or in orbit. And I was sitting there thinking, I wonder if we're even seeing stars anymore, if we're just seeing satellites these days. There's so many up there. And Seashell is saying hi to Adam and Phyllis. Two Bear says, a few years back, our former governor made New York State a sanctuary state, and now they don't want the border jumpers, and the Democratic Party is melting down over it. They are getting a taste of their own medicine, is how I look at it. And JR says, the AG, some kind of vitamin drink. Oh, Athletic Green, some kind of vitamin drink. Oh, so it's like Soylent Green. So Athletic Green is the new Soylent Green. I'm going to pass on that. I'm going to get my vitamins from the meat and vegetables. Thank you very much. That are in whole form. Paul Davis says, in Tennessee, homelessness is not illegal, but sleeping is. Oh my goodness. New laws this year: can't camp on state or public land or under bridges. Where do they think the people are going to go? Are they going to house them someplace? I mean, it's ridiculous. They, yeah, things are changing for sure. And Peter Erickson, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for being here with us. Peter says, hope you have a great summer. How are they going to fix up the driveway, crushed rock in front of the cabin? Hope you can get the standing water problem fixed. Keep the vids coming. Well, thank you for that. And I am going to be putting some driveway cloth or road cloth down. And then I'm going to be putting on various grades of rock on top of that and adding in some drainage as well. So some French drains and some sloping and drainage cut in, some trenches cut in along the sides of the drive, and fixing the driving pad as well. So that is going to be quite the feat to be done. But I expect that that'll probably be done, I would think probably within the next month, I'm going to have that done. So there'll be a vid on that for sure coming your way. And I'll bring you guys all along for that process. And Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn is saying, anyone interested, we'll be having our live, so his live over at the Curmudgeon Inn on Friday. What time is your live, Rob, on your Friday live stream? And there's Steve's Woodworking and Homestead. Steve says hi from me and Susie. Well, thank you, Steve. I'm glad you could be here. And I'm not sure if you had a live this Saturday, but if you did, I hope it went well. So Steve also has live streams on Saturdays. His can be a little intense and a little heated at times, but they're a lot of fun too. So if you've got thick skin, I think you might enjoy Steve's Woodworking and Homestead live streams. And Bren says, thank you so much for all the video work you put in and showing me your neck of this planet. I hope you have a great spring and summer. Hope you get all of the projects done that you got going. Yep, I hope so too. And I also want to say thank you for all of your shorts that you've been putting up and everything. I enjoy seeing your neck of the woods as well and everything that you got going on. And you have quite the sense of humor. I love the choice of music you've been putting in your shorts. I think they're super cute. And Seashell Beast is saying thumbs up to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn. Ashley says, looking forward to it, Rob. And there is Bren's channel link, everyone. So be sure to check out Bren's videos on her channel. And I'm sure she would appreciate that as well. And JR says to Steve, evening, Steve. Onto it, Aussie says, time to head off to work. Take care alone. And all here in chat today. See you next week. Well, have a safe day at work, and I will see you next time. And stay safe out there, please. Onto it, Aussie. And Steve is saying hey to JR. And then Rob is saying bye. And also saying hello to Steve. And Clint is saying good evening to Onto It Aussie. And there is Steve's Woodworking and Homesteads channel link for everybody. Be sure to check out Steve's channel. He's got some stuff going on there, as well as his live streams. So it's not just live streams. He's got some other stuff going on in his neck of the woods as well. And let's see here. Rustic Log Cabin says, ooh, I found my 1970s retro table in the snow berm, then found another 75 feet away my missing 2 legs. I'm hoping those are legs for the table. Not sure what happened. I will be doing a restoration video on my channel later this week. Fantastic. I look forward to checking it out. That's awesome. Two Bears said the post office will ask you what's in the package. Not sure if they will ship rhubarb, though. I've never done it. Yeah, I don't know what the rules and regulation are, but I guess we'll find out. And Diana says to Ashley, we're getting some great sunsets in Colorado from the Canadian fires. Oh my goodness, that smoke is going everywhere. And Rob is saying hello to the New England coast. And Chris Watson says, how does one super chat? I think there's a little dollar sign below the chat. It's either a dollar bill looking icon or a dollar sign or something right below the chat bar is, I think, how you do it. I'm using a streaming software, so I can't see the same things you guys can see in YouTube, but I believe that's how you do it. And Steve's Woodworking Homestead says, Alone, what did you catch on the trail cams, or are you going to tease us and make us wait? I'm going to make you wait. Of course, I'm going to make you wait. Also, because I've not walked back out there and checked the trail cams yet. I don't want to be out there too much. I want the wildlife to come through. I want them to think that they have run of the place so that they'll come through and we get something on those trail cams. But I will show on Thursday if I catch anything on them. And I did look at the security footage out front, but because of where the tree is, I couldn't see if there was anything like a moose had come out of the woods right there or something else had come out of the woods right there and then walked up the driveway. I could not see anything, but hopefully someday I figure out what's leaving all these funky feet prints. And sorry, I got to catch my train of thought here. Rob is saying to Chris, should be option just below the area you type, as I thought. Yep. And I think it, like I said, it looks like a dollar sign or a dollar bill. And Two Bears says, Diana, we had a great sunset caused by the Canadian fires. That was how I found out they had fires. Yep. The smoke definitely will cause some colorful sunsets. That's for sure. But it's an unfortunate side effect, or it's an unfortunate cause of those, I guess. Apologies. Had to take a drink there, folks. And New England Coast says, Diana, I'm a Red Sox girl. Ashley says, Diana said something so destructive can cause such beauty. Sad that something so destructive can cause such beauty. Exactly. And Rob is saying to New England Coast, right on, go Sox. And Byron Pyles, how are you? Byron says, hi, Alone. Missed a couple of weeks. Mondays have been rough lately. Oh, no. Well, hopefully things get a little easier for you, but I'm glad you're here nonetheless. And I appreciate you being in the chat tonight. And JR says, funny, the Super Bowl with Denver and Seattle, the two states had just legalized pot a few years back. Lol. I bet the Super Bowl. No pun intended. Steve's Woodworking says, newsflash, it's no fire in Canada. It's all the pot smoking. Kidding. Thank you, Chris. Chris figured out how to do the super chat. $2. Thanks. He said, dank curmudge. Troglodyte here. You're in good company, Chris. You're in good company. But I appreciate the $2. Like I said, every little bit helps and it goes a long way. So thank you very much, Chris. And New England Coast says, it's all over the country. Remember this when you vote. Exactly. Vote, and vote for the things that matter the most. And our security is one of those things. And that includes our veterans. And JR says, law enforcement in my city has been given orders, hands off the homeless, else the city will get sued. What is wrong with the world? What is wrong with the world? The world is so backwards and the laws are disintegrating in front of our eyes. And Virginia said, I enjoy your half hog and half beef videos. Any coming up? There will be some videos about me. Excuse me. There'll be some videos about me canning some of the beef and the hog that I have because I need to get it out of the freezer. And then also some more cooking videos will be coming up. But I still have quite a bit of meat. So I won't be purchasing another half a hog or beef just yet. But I'm sure down the road in the years to come, I will. But right now, I need to get what I have processed. So I have some sausage recipes that I'll be putting together as well as some canning videos and some other recipes coming up using some of that meat as well. And Diana says to New England Coast, okay, then go both socks. I'm not sure what that is. I was born in Chesapeake, Massachusetts. Sadly, they seem to be screwing the pooch so far this year. I don't follow sports, so when you guys talk sports lingo, I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it is. And JR says, renew the passport with passport card and rush service was $235. Woo! That was costly. Hi, Lisa. How are you doing? And Lisa says, who inspired you? I would say that I was inspired by Dick Prenneke and Grizzly Adams. I'm not going to lie. I fawned over Grizzly Adams' life when I was growing up watching that series. But Dick Prenneke later on in life inspired me for sure. And, others as well. But those two were some of the biggest. And Deep Bay Homestead says, honestly, oh, and thank you for being here, Lisa, if I didn't already say it. I appreciate it. And Deep Bay says, honestly, after a very cold and miserable winter, I do look forward to some summer warmth. Although the swarming of the black flies and mosquitoes right now need to do their thing and move on out, lol. The black flies here have been bad so far this year as well. They come around at 40 degrees, even in the wintertime. If it hits 40 degrees, they're out and about. And they're thick right now. They're worse than the mosquitoes, actually. Clint says all of these sanctuary cities are now crying that they are running out of resources, etc. Now they will know how these lower border states feel. Y'all voted for it. Y'all deal with it. Yep. You get what you ask for. Like I said earlier, I definitely agree with that. And Steve says to Alone, don't forget to take a drink. Yes. I'll keep talking till I get dry in the throat and start coughing. So I'm trying to avoid that tonight. So thank you, Steve. And hi, Robin. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you again. Robin says, I don't know why your lives don't notify me. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it's because I'm doing it through StreamYard. Maybe that's why. Very interesting. But I'm glad you're here nonetheless. Just remember every Monday at 5 o'clock, and then about every 4 weeks on Saturday night at 11 p.m. is when I do my live. So maybe set a reminder on your phone if you can do that, because I guess it's the streaming service that I'm using. And Tracy says, hi from Michigan. Well, hello, Tracy. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. JR says, feds are giving money to the sanctuary cities, and that is all the cities are thinking about. Yeah, that would do it for sure. All those sanctuary cities. Sorry, I lost my place here. Sorry, folks. Everyone's so greedy. I think that's a big portion of it. And Ira says, in today's fay, with all the industries of injustices, of government and how they waste taxpayers' money, the more rural and the more remote you live, the better off you are. I agree. I think the cities are no place to be these days with everything that's going on. And if you can get out and away from it and start living your life and sustaining yourself and getting away and out from underneath the control of the government, it's a better way of life for sure. Diana says, Alone, I sent a box on Saturday. Hope you like what I threw in there. The clerk at the counter was impatient, so I just dumped everything in. No worries, because I just rip it all out of there too, like a kid on Christmas morning. So Don't worry about packing things nice and neat because it's going to get shuffled in transit, most likely, anyhow. But I appreciate you sending stuff, Diana. Chris says, "What are you talking about? I went to the VA for athlete's foot and they amputated my feet. Problem solved. Government is always here to help us vets." Yeah, if the government ever says we're here to help us and trust us, you should do the exact opposite. Run, run. JR says Starlink's birds are Leos, low Earth or orbit. Oh my goodness. I I was seeing some of the satellites out behind me. Um, I mean, all they have to do is look out when it's dark outside and you can see them, racing through the sky. But I have the little tracker that'll tell me what satellite is which. But at some points, there's so many moving through the sky that it's hard to read the screen. It's like, I don't know which is which and where they're going. Ashley says 1984 is real, folks, with all the satellites and all the other things that are going on too, Ashley. Diana says to Chris Watson, "Oh my, what that treatment may have been a smidge extreme." I agree. And Kurt Stacy says, "Nice. Driveway will be fixed." Yes, finally, because I can't drive around. I'm still not going around the loop in front of the bunkhouse at all. I'm just backing up and then driving straight forward down the drive, trying to avoid all the ruts. But I'm glad you're here, Kurt, also, by the way. So thank you for being here tonight and in the chat. Deep Bay Homestead says to Ira, "The issue with the taxes for those in towns with all the amenities and us outside of town off grid with no amenities, we pay the same tax." That is one thing I have to admit about Alaska that I am really appreciative of, is that there is, other than federal tax, there is no tax here in this area of Alaska that I live. I know areas like Wasilla have city sales tax, but there's no state income tax here. There's no property tax. In the area that I live, I believe there's property tax elsewhere in the state, though. And I know there are other places in the country that are like that. So if you're planning on moving remote, I would look for a place where you have low or no taxes, because that'll make a big difference in your income as well. Old Tavern says, "Just to tell you, our youngest son was caught in the turret of a Bradley fighting vehicle. Oh my goodness, he nearly lost his leg. Woo. But there is nothing better than freedom. All of us with brave hearts will be fine." Yes. Well, thank you. And thank your son for his efforts and for his tremendous bravery going to fight. And I hope that he is fine. That he didn't lose his leg was a good thing, but I hope his leg is not injured too severely either. So thank you very much to him and all of the things that he's done for our country. And Diana says to Ashley, "Yes, it is. Ugh." Joe Young, how are you doing tonight, my friend? So glad you could be here. Joe says, "Hello, Annie, just dropping in to say hello. Stay locked and loaded, and I like your new secretary's desk." Thank you. I appreciate that, Joe, and loves to you too. I appreciate you being here. And the new secretary is beautiful. Every time I walk by it, I'm like, that was a good buy. That was definitely a good buy. It fit in there just absolutely perfectly in that spot. And New England Coast says, "You put so much effort into your videos. They are wonderful. How is Kenai?" Well, thank you for noticing the effort I put into my video. Sorry, I got to move my drink. I can hear my voice echoing through the glass. And Kenai is doing just fine. He's taking a nap right at my feet here. He's probably thinking, I wish he'd stop so that he could go outside, but he's busy sleeping. So that's good. And hi, Christina. How are you doing tonight? So glad you could be here again. Christina says, "Hello, everyone." And Rob is saying that his live is at 5 p.m. on Friday. So be sure to check out Rob's live if you would. And I'm going to take a drink real quick. So give me one moment here, folks. Diana says, "Ruger and Greta say hi." That's her two dogs. They want to know what toys Kenai likes. He doesn't, actually, believe it or not. Kenai does not play with toys. He won't chase a ball. He won't play tug of war. He won't play with a rope. You can give him a bone and he'll crush a bone. So I have to take the bones away from him because he just breaks them off into shards. It doesn't matter what type of bone. They could be raw or cooked. It could be a femur bone, which is as hard as concrete, and he can shatter those bones. So I do give him bones every now and then, but he actually doesn't play with bones. His favorite toy is people. He just wants to maul people. That's really what he loves to play with the most. And he loves car rides. Absolute favorite thing in the world, I think, for him is a car ride. If ever he's going crazy because there's too much commotion around on the property, people here and what have you, if I put him in the car, he calms down. He's like, cool, I'll sit in the car. I like it in the car. He's a funny boy for sure. But thank you for asking. But yeah, I've never gotten him to play for more than like 2 seconds. And then he's like, I'm over it. Deep Bay says, Rob, what time zone are you in? Rob is in the Alaska time zone. So Alaska has only one single time zone, the Alaska Standard Time Zone. So it's on the same as I am. And Chris says, honestly, I've worked with homeless, displaced populations. So many homeless voluntarily stay in the lifestyle. This is true. There's a lot of them who are there by choice. And I mean, there are those that have fallen on, hard times and unfortunate circumstances, but there's a huge portion of the homeless that are there by choice, unfortunately. And there's not much you can do to remedy their situation because they don't want to be remedied. And Christina is saying hi to Rob at the Curmudgeon Inn. Steve's Woodworking Homestead says, thanks for the shout out, but you should have said my lives are all kittens and lollipops. Need more views. Well, I want you to get views, but I want you to get views from people who will come back to view your channel and your live streams. I don't want you to get people on there that you're going to have to block like you did on one of them. Let's be real. I want you to get followers that enjoy your content and your views and the friends that you have on your channel. So that's one other thing about Steve's Woodworking and Homestead is that his is a panel of people. So it's not just Steve, but he's got some other guests on there as well that are always on there with him. So, but they're a hoot. They're a lot of fun. So be sure to check out Steve's channel. And hello, Gossip Girl. How you doing? And says, are there Black people in Alaska? Yes, there are. There definitely are. And you're going to find a lot of variety of people here in Alaska. There's people from the Philippines. There's people from Mexico. There are Asian people here. There are Black people here. It's a big melting pot here in Alaska. But you're going to find more of a melting pot situation in the larger cities for sure. And around the military bases also is where you're going to find some more diversity in the populations here. And Deep Base says to Steve's Woodworking Homestead, we'll give you some views. He would appreciate that, Deep Bay. Thank you. Alaska Cut the Cords channel link is there for everybody. So be sure to check them out and tell them I said hi. And Steve's Woodworking says block mods. I'm not sure why he said that, but he's also saying thank you and cool to Deep Bay for coming over and checking out his live stream. And Wayne Sperlin, how are you doing tonight, Wayne? Wayne says, always wanted to visit Alaska, but it ain't gonna happen. I'm sad I can't go, but thanks to folks like you, I can visit. Well, that's the whole point of this channel, at least mine, is to help you live vicariously through the things that I show you and the places that I get to go and see in Alaska. Because I know not everyone's going to get to make that move, but I sure wish everyone could that wanted to, that's for sure. And there is Steve's Woodworking and Homestead's channel link. Thank you for putting that up there, Rob. I greatly appreciate that. And Chris Watson says to Gossip Girl, of course there are Black people in Alaska. There are Black people everywhere. And Deep Bay Homestead, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing just in general. So please don't take offense to my giggles. Deep Bay Homestead said, Wayne Sperlin, same here. Would love to visit Alaska, but not on the list to happen. It is quite a trek to get here and quite expensive as well. That is for sure. And it takes a lot of time also to get here to Alaska and to see the things that really are meant to be seen. JR said, since the Red Sox got Justin Turner, they should do much better. Do you hear the crickets? I think I heard crickets. I don't know what that. I think Red Sox is baseball. I'm gonna go with baseball. And Justin Turner, I'm gonna guess is a pitcher, but I have no idea. And the Red Sox could be something else entirely. JR says vote early and often and vote in person. That's my thing. Do away with the mail-in ballots because I think that's a hoax as well. And JR Homestead or JR Steve's Woodworking in Homestead is laughing at me. Diana says to JR, let's hope it's been pretty dismal so far. There's that sports talk again. Lisa Waddell says, I really like your secretary desk. Oh, well, thank you very much. I like I said, I was astounded to find it and at such a good price too, because I came home because somebody had told me, they're like, oh, you overpaid. You overpaid for that. And then I came home and I started researching similar secretaries that are currently for sale online. And I was flabbergasted at how much they're going for. So I think I got a great deal on it because I didn't hardly pay a thing for it. So thank you, though. I really appreciate that. And Chris says homelessness is low priority. We can't get decent LE support when I have teens shot and my officer takes a shot to defend kids in broad daylight. Yeah, I meant to ask you about that, Chris, about how is everyone faring after the incident at your school. Hopefully everybody is okay and that nobody was seriously injured. I don't recall if you say if anyone had perished in that incident, but I hope nobody had for sure. So I've been meaning to ask you how everyone's doing. But I agree with you. There are so many other things that we need to tend to for sure. And the safety of our students and our children is definitely right up there, along with our borders and our vets. And Steve's Woodworking says, I have 4 dead people in my family that are still voting, thanks to me. Ha ha, not funny. Ira says, I just bought a charcoal grill and plan to barbecue for my mom and on Memorial Day, salmon, zucchini, peppers from garden on grill and hot dogs with mustard and sauerkraut for my mom. That sounds awesome. Sounds like you're going to have quite the feast there, Ira, like making me hungry already. Diana says, yes, vote in every election. Local is even more important than the presidential election. I agree. Like, honestly, it starts at home and then it goes on from there. But honestly, if you don't take care of your own community and get in the people that are going to support your community and the right thing for your community, the federal government they're just going to move up the chain. In other words, they start local and then they move up and up as they go along. And eventually those that you voted in make their way into the bigger government offices. And Steve at Steve's Woodworking Homestead says, right. And Patricia says, I love watching Grizzly Adams, Call of the Wild and Call in the Wild Hatchet. I agree. I absolutely agree. Like, I could sit back and just reminisce on those shows because they were some of my favorites. And Wild Wild West. I have to admit, I was a big James Conrad fan and loved Wild Wild West. That was probably one of my favorite shows growing up. And hi, Norm. How you doing? Norm says, hi, all. Just came in from the shop. Well, thank you for popping in, Norm. I appreciate you being here tonight. And D Stu, I appreciate you being here also. And D Stu says, are black flies around all year long in Alaska? And how do you deal with them? They are here all year long. But in the coldest part of winter, you don't really see them because they're, I guess, hibernating, sleeping during the coldest part. But like I said, anytime the weather comes up above 40 degrees, the temperature that is comes up 40 degrees Fahrenheit, they're out and about. I don't have the racket in here with me right now, but Linda sent me a electrified racket that I just swat them with that racket. They get caught in between the wires and then they get electrified and they die. I've heard other people say to put a Ziploc bag with a penny in it above a doorway, and that will prevent them from flying in. But with an old cabin like this, it's not airtight. And so I know that the flies are coming in and mosquitoes are coming in because there might be a hole, in the chinking of the cabin or the roof line, even though I had the roof replaced, but like where it ties into the cabin, someplace like that around a door frame or whatever. So they're going to come in no matter what I do. But I just try to, you know, fly tape is one of the things that I do also in the cabin, as gross as it is, but it does work. But really, that electric racket is the best thing for the mosquitoes when they're flying around, and the flies as well. And Dixieland says, the less we have to depend on stores and the government, the better we are. I agree. I absolutely agree. And Dixie's also saying hi to Norm. Hi, Shannon. Shannon's here. And Shannon says, no, it's not StreamYards. I get notifications, just FYI. I think maybe look at settings. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, I'm not sure why it works for some and why it doesn't work for others, but I appreciate the feedback there. That's very informative. And thank you for being here tonight as well, Shannon. Ira says, I'm glad that I can't read that word. I don't know what that word says. Illegal migrants. I'm glad that they delivered illegal migrants to Kamala's doorstep. So maybe she can get a realization of the mess she created. Yep. Yep. Well, that is created. Yep. I agree. And I think they should drop some on Biden's doorstep, Hillary's doorstep, Obama's doorstep. Get them all on their doorsteps. And Steve's Woodworking is saying hello to Tracy and saying that he also is in Michigan. And Chris Watson says the book My Side of the Mountain in elementary school woke up my desire to live alone and in the wild. That's a great book. And RM says, hey, Miss Annie Alone. Sorry, I missed the bulk of the show tonight. Nice to see you. Well, I'm glad you're here, even if it is just about closing time for the show, but I'm so glad you made it nonetheless. And same to you, Raphael. How are you doing tonight? Says hello from West Palm Beach, Florida. Wish I were in Alaska. Well, Alaska wishes you were here too. And I'm glad you're in the chat, if nothing else. So thank you for being here tonight. Kermudge says hello to Raphael. Move up. We lived in Southwest Florida prior to coming here. And JR says, I am a veteran and my oath never expires. USA, USA. That is right. America. Yep. Once you take that oath, it's an oath for life. And Chris Watson says, I always wanted to be a long hunter or a mountain man as a kid. Jeremiah Johnson and The Last of the Mohicans are my two favorite movies. Know How to Skin a Grizz. Pilgrim? I wish. Steve's Woodworking says, thank you. And to JR. And JR says, to Steve, thank you, sir. Ira says, I love all of the added photography incorporated into your videos. They have a unique style. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact that you're watching the videos. That means a lot to me. And Raphael says, thank you to Rob over the Curmudgeon Inn. I have been there on vacation. And Lisa says, do you ever get depressed missing your grandkids? Well, I don't have grandkids. At least I hope I don't. Or otherwise, I have some children that have some explaining to do. But I don't get depressed. I do miss my kids, but because I get to talk to them often and I know that they've got a lot going on in their lives, that keeps me happy. As long as they're happy, I'm happy. And my kids are hilarious. I have a video where I showed an interview with my son, and there's some people who definitely caught his sense of humor. But when he was growing up, I would have to put him in no talking timeouts, because not just because he talked constantly, but because he was cracking jokes so much. He's such a funny person that I couldn't swallow my dinner. And so I'd have to put him in a no talking timeout just so I could eat dinner and not choke by laughing so much at the things he was saying at the dinner table. The kid is hilarious. So just being able to talk to them keeps me going, and knowing that they're living fulfilled lives as well. But that's a great question. Thank you. And Bren says to Steve's Woodworking, I'll sub you. I like woodwork and restoring furniture. There you go. And Diana says, my daughter was voluntarily homeless for several years. She eventually lost all three of her kids because of it. Thank God they were adopted by friends of mine, so I get to see them. That is fantastic that they got to have a good home, and it is somebody that you know, so that you get to still have a relationship with your grandchildren. Oh, it's so sad when that happens. Big T over at Rustic Log Cabin Life says, before Willow, I was among the homeless. Lots of great people despite all of the alcoholism and such. I was among just a few who made it out, and everyone I used to know there are dead. Too bad. That is so sad. But Tony, we're glad that you made it out, and we're glad that you found your own way in life and that you were able to find a home that you're actually making your own and doing your things your own way. So congratulations to you as well on that. And Kurt says, things are coming up in the garden around here. I hope you get a chance to grow something this year. It's so rewarding. I definitely am getting that opportunity. So not this week's video, but I think next week's video is going to be the start of the garden, since it's about 8 days away before I can get things planted in the ground, but it's going to be happening before you know it. So I'm very happy for you, and I'm happy to be following right behind you there. And John, hello to you too. So glad you could be here. Appreciate it. And Steve's Woodworking says, when a message has been retracted, you're not supposed to read, rookie. I don't know what, I guess I get it now. Oh my goodness. I am a rookie, that's for sure. But also the thing of it is how do I know that when it's on StreamYard? Because I'm reading everything from StreamYard. I know you use StreamYard, so you're going to have to show me the ropes, Steve. And Virginia says, thank you for your wonderful videos and live chats. I can't wait for your next of both. Cataract surgery tomorrow. Well, prayers that you have a safe surgery and that your cataracts get resolved and that your eyesight recovers quickly. So I have some friends that are going through that right now. And if you're listening out there, I hope that you all are recovering quickly from it. So Virginia, stay safe out there. And thank you for the compliments on the channel and the chats. I appreciate it. And I'm going to start signing off here tonight, folks. But I do want to say thank you to everybody who has been on the chat. And thank you again to JR and to Rob for all of your help on the channel, and to Steve as well at Steve's Woodworking and Homestead. I appreciate all three of you and your assistance with everything. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who was in the chat tonight, from Ashley and Brooklyn and Dixieland and Two Bears. I appreciate all of you. It's so nice to have you all here. And John says, I see certain people get banned from this chat. Hurt feelings? No, just some inappropriate and rude comments that my viewers don't need to read. So I don't get offended by the things they're saying, but I'm cognizant of how other people might receive things. And so if you say something that I think is just gross or inappropriate or whatever, I don't need you here, and neither do my viewers. So if your feelings get hurt from being banned, then so be it, and more power to you elsewhere. So that's what I got to say to people get banned. But good question. Thank you. And Norm says, wonderful videos and the chats are so educational. Thank you for sharing. Everyone stay warm and safe, happy and healthy from Henrico County, Virginia. Yes, definitely vote. Yes, yes, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you, Norm and Ashley and everybody. So I want to say thank you to everybody, and thank you everybody for the super chats and for the new members. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys help so much around the channel and help keep the channel going strong. So thank you for all of that. I want everyone to have a good night and stay safe and take care. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon.